part of himself gets rid of the pain of being a man.
Caught here in a fiery blaze, won't lose my will to stay. I try to drive all through the night. The heat-stroke-ridden weather, the barren, empty sights. No oasis here to see. The sand is singing deathless words to me. Can't you help me as I'm starting to burn low? Too many doses and I'm starting to get an attraction. My confidence is leaving me on my own alone. No one can save me and you know I don't want the attention. As I adjust to my new sight, the rarely tired lights will take me to new heights. Herz in Flammen. So heiß, so heiß, so heiß. Du kannst, du kannst, du kannst, du kannst, du kannst, du kannst. Ich weiß, ich weiß, ich weiß. Wir sind, wir sind, wir sind ihr bleibt, ihr bleibt, ihr bleibt, ihr bleibt. Sagt mein Herz in Flammen, will ich lieben und verdammen. Sagt dein Atem kalt, so jung und doch so alt. Sagt ich will dich nie verlassen. Ich weiß, man kann dich lieben. Du liebst, du liebst, du liebst und will dich hassen. Überheblich, überlegen, übernehmen, übergeben, überraschen, überfallen. Deutschland, über alle Zero-Shows near Clearwater Beach. Get tickets as low as 45. You might also like flowers, Miley Cyrus. Did you know that there's a tunnel under ocean? Board, Lana Del Rey, let go, Central Sea.
Welcome, my friends, to XboxEra. If you're new here, let me fill you in. XboxEra is a platform for the Xbox community with best-in-class forums, a kick-ass Discord server, and of course, XboxEra.com, your destination for the best news, reviews, and features, all focused on your favourite platform, Xbox. It's every Xbox fan's gateway to the best of XboxEra. Our incredible podcasts listened to in over 50 countries worldwide, our in-depth reviews, our own merch store for the coolest in gaming threads, and of course Day One, where you can track, rate and discuss your favourite games on Xbox Game Pass. We're a small, agile and independent publication, and importantly, we're completely funded by you. If you value having a publication truly focused on your preferred place to play, you can become one of the cool kids by supporting us directly via Patreon. Just head to patreon.com/XboxEra. You get cool swag and awesome perks, and we get to keep doing what we do. Become a part of the best Xbox community on the internet and help us grow even larger. Thank you for your support. XboxEra is only made possible by the support of an amazing community, and in particular our legendary and growing army of Patreon supporters. Our executive producers, Top, the Scarecrow 121, Peter B, Not Jack, Mohammed Sherez, Kevin S, Korkenstein, Jordan White, Jordan Andau, Frankie C, Terran H, and Britt. Our amazingly generous grand benefactors who take their support and dedication to XboxEra to another level. Krat56, an assassin. And then there's our boss, our leader, our shining light in times of darkness, the one and only XboxEra's CEO, Torn Raptor. You guys are all fucking awesome. If you enjoy the content XboxEra produce and want more of it, and you're not a patron, consider heading over to patreon.com/XboxEra, pledge your support, and get cool swag in return. Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 246 of the XboxEra podcast. We're here to discuss the latest in gaming from across the industry. Overall, we're focused on your favourite platform, Xbox. Big shout-outs to all of our MVPs, executive producers, especially our grand benefactors, Croat56 and Assassin, and our wonderful CEO, Torn Raptor. If you want to become a legend like those guys, join our Patreon, not anybody else's. No one else is allowed to mention a Patreon in this show. It's nothing. It doesn't matter. I'm joined this week, as per usual, by a special Nick.
What's going on?
The lovely Jesse Norris.
Why, hello.
And some degenerate who we picked off out of the street to come and join the show.
Unemployed bum.
Legendary journalist. Bum. Destin Legarie. How you doing?
I wasn't allowed to say it, so I typed it in the chat instead. How's that? Yeah, thanks for having me, everybody. Nick has been pinging me for like a year and a half to be on the show, and I will just not message him for like 3 months, and then randomly send him something. And that's
So
just how I
bad.
work online.
Don't you
usually.
DM me,
Good to
John?
see
I already
everybody.
fixed it.
Good to see everybody.
The
I
absolute
break?
worst responder in Discord.
I can still. Can anyone else still hear music?
What?
No, it's all good.
Well, this is really
No.
strange then.
Do you want me to
I'm
start?
really
my God, John.
confused.
So did anything interesting happen this week? Did anybody announce a new console?
Nope.
Or
Oh
anything
my
good
God.
happen?
With how Nick
Well,
Nick always looks at us and said like, "Oh, there's like nothing that happened in the news," and then the showrunner I have is like 30 things in it, and it's like, come on.
Yeah, there's been a lot this week. The Switch 2 is definitely the headline, but in the really, tell me if I'm on an island on my own here, gentlemen, but in a really unenthusiastic kind of like, oh, it's a bigger Switch. And then that's it, really.
What did everyone think it was going to be?
I mean, I didn't think it was going to be more than that, really. I mean, that's been part of the discussion, right? Is Nintendo going to go, hey, here's a gimmick? I mean, there is one gimmick. We'll get into it. But it was kind of like the most unexciting console reveal kind of ever. After all the build-up, it was like...
I
We'll
think it
talk
was
about it.
great. I think
Yes.
everybody's being a negative Nancy.
Yes, they
Switch
are.
2,
They are.
Including
or,
the stock
or
market.
whatever the current term is.
How about the
for
stock
people who
market's-
are being unnecessarily negative about a cool console reveal. I'm
Yes, that's
excited.
right.
The
Buying
stock
it day
market
one.
is full of idiots, so I don't care what if they think it's bad, it's probably good.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah,
how have you been, Destin?
it's only estimated to sell 20 million.
Well,
Yeah.
they
Surpassing the
have the
original
capacity. They've
So
built
we'll
up that.
see.
So
We'll see how it goes.
yeah. I
I'm
think
doing
it'll be
quite
fine.
well. Thank you for asking, Nick.
Yeah. How's it been? Like not working anymore? How good is it? Just chilling out, relaxing.
Yeah, I haven't
every
been
day?
doing anything at all. Just been super chill, not
Yeah,
doing
so-
anything.
So jealous.
I'm working on 2 op-eds, a review, 2 previews that I'm able to say I'm working. Well, Assassin's Creed, you can say it's coming out on the 23rd.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm working on that. I think I just came to my conclusion on that, and that'll be out on the 23rd. My full thoughts, and then Capcom had me out like last second. They're like, "Can you come out like tomorrow?" And I got to play Monster Hunter, Capcom Fighting Collection 2, and
nice.
Street Fighter 6. So those will come soon, and then reaching out for comments about stories that have happened recently. Man, I hope Xbox is going to pull through this dark era that they're currently in.
There's been a thing. The
Pull themselves up by the bootstraps.
the
or
gaming
whatever.
industry, the gaming coverage industry,
$4 trillion company.
it's felt like they're finally coming to realize that maybe it's not just Xbox dead. Maybe it's whole entire industry changing. So we got to look at the whole picture instead of just saying they don't sell as many consoles, so they're dead. It's felt like that's finally gotten through to people, that the industry is now all these mega games that the young kids just want to play everywhere. They're not into the console war landscape that we had growing up. And Microsoft might actually be properly a little ahead of the game, even though they themselves are still behind where the industry actually is.
I did an interview with a whole bunch of the top analysts in the industry about where the industry is and everything. And the conclusion was everybody's state of reality is changing within the market. Games cost $300 million to make now. They need to reach more people than ever before. And recently we discovered Helldivers 2 surpassed Spider-Man 2. So if you don't think PlayStation is looking at that and saying, we need to figure something out, they are. But inversely, they also had this disaster with Concord, which just got a bunch of live service games put on ice. Thankfully, in my opinion, I'm glad they're not pursuing them any further. But now the studios are left in a really difficult spot. So there's a lot of nuance to the whole conversation about all the news that's coming out. But for a long time, people have not liked my stance on it because they're like, oh, Xbox is doing so poorly. Look how bad their consoles are doing. And I'm like, they haven't been playing that game for 5 years.
If not longer.
Yeah, if not longer. They're ahead of the game. They're ahead of where people are going to look to access their games. And there's tons of studies out there that people have done that say people just want ease of access. Like if they're playing on PlayStation 5, they are less likely to go buy an Xbox console right now. So from an Xbox fan's perspective, they're talking about, and I'm sorry if I'm just sort of going off on a tangent.
No, it's okay.
We have Nick on this show. We
You
are
are
used to
going off on a
tangents.
tangent.
Yeah. So if you have a PlayStation 5, you're less likely, or the younger demographic, and I'm not talking about 30-year-olds. I'm talking about, I think the demo is like 20 and under.
Yeah.
You're less likely to go buy an Xbox. You just want to play the Xbox games on PlayStation, you'll wait. If you're on PC, you just get everything.
Yeah.
So you don't really want to go buy a PS5 or anything. Well, maybe you'd get a PS5, maybe you get a Switch, but Xbox has put themselves in a spot where there's not a ton of reason for a PC gamer to go to the console side. But PlayStation is in a spot where they need to figure out their release cadence. That window is getting smaller and smaller between their console releases and their PC releases. And Xbox's window is quite short for console or any exclusives like Indiana Jones, eventually ending up on PlayStation 5. And we'll see how that all plays out. There's a lot of rumors going around right now. I don't know if you guys have said anything. Like, I haven't followed all of your leaks, Nick, but I know it's a little bit of a leaky ship over here at XboxEra. In terms of
we've are we talking about Xbox leaks specifically right now?
Well, there's specifically.
Yeah, we've not said them out loud, and we've banned Nick from doing so.
Oh, okay, good.
Because also we don't want to ruin the surprise, because it's kind of an open secret. Like, we can say we kind of know what everything is, but like, we're staying to them, basically.
Yeah, it's all the games are coming to PlayStation 5, right? That's the big leak.
Yeah.
But
enough about the industry. Let's get to the important stuff. So now that you've left Destin, how shit is IGN? How crap is it? And
IGN is great.
Wasn't it just the worst place to work? IGN, wasn't it just the worst?
No, in all honesty, IGN was really great. When I left, seeing Pear, like the tweet and respond to it really meant a lot. And I really wanted to convey in the exit speech just how much it meant to me and all the positive memories I had while I was there. I don't think people realize like how awesome it was being at IGN. It's like, you get to see the world. I got to go to Japan. I got to go to Germany. And like, I grew up in a trailer in Fort Francis, Ontario. Like, I grew up poor, right? So when you have these aspirations of covering games, you don't realize how far it can take you, and through hard work and making the best content I could while I was at IGN. I'm really proud to say that I think I had a positive contribution at IGN. I'm really grateful for my time at IGN, and I think it's a really, really special company in the industry. I think one of the best, honestly.
You were there 13 years, right? That's a heck of a long time.
Yeah.
Wasn't it more?
13.
Oh, it was 13. Okay.
I've been in the industry like 20 or something crazy, because I started on writing articles for free on mygamer.com. I don't even know if they exist anymore. And then I did a bunch of terrible freelance writing, like really bad stuff for a bunch of outlets. And I would do news over on Go Nintendo. So that would be basically rewriting press releases, which is pretty standard. Just, hey, I'll cover news for a day for $100 or something, or I don't know what they paid at the time. I don't remember, but that was also 15 years ago or something. So like, all that's going on. And and then eventually I landed at IGN, and I stayed there for 13 years. I really liked what I did there. I liked being able to play games and talk about them. And I messaged somebody who works there today. I just said, hey, good job on the Nintendo Switch stuff.
It's interesting, as folks that have been on our own Patreon journey, like, absolutely tough to see you make this move, because and this doesn't really apply to IGN specifically, but just generally the gaming coverage industry and generally the online web industry. It's kind of like a race to the bottom at the moment in terms of how things are covered. And I don't mean like the proper op-eds and reviews, but the like what we would all terminalize as clickbait. Like, as consumers, we all hate it, but it is, as we've learned, increasingly hard to survive as a website on ad revenue alone. And it's like seeing you go out on that journey and be like, hey, I'm going to build a community. I'm going to build my own platform that's for me. And seeing the really positive reaction from everybody in the kind of sphere is really cool. So kudos. It is exciting and terrifying. And, if you're watching, folks, go check out Destin's channel. It's Save State Plus, right? Patreon.com/Save State Plus.
Save State Plus. That's right. Thank you for the plug.
Yeah, no
And
worries.
mygamer.com still exists.
Wow.
Oh. I don't even know what I wrote for them. Please don't.
I just checked that out. It still exists. They're still going.
I could have went to E3 with them, but I would have.
Wow.
I would have had to pay my own way, and I couldn't afford it. So I missed the E3 where like the Wii was revealed, and I think the PS3. I don't know, like all the cool consoles were revealed, but I got to go to the 1 year after. So
yeah, I've missed all E3s, sadly. Like the year we kind of started, E3 died, then we had a pandemic, and then it never came back to life. And it's just like, oh man, shucks.
By the end, everybody had kind of like just said, yeah, we don't really want to do E3. They were doing their own thing, like at the Staples, like Microsoft would do they have like a whole stadium that they own, so they would just do it there. It makes sense, you know. It was really fragmented by the end, but it was sort of always like that. It was fun while it lasted, but E3 is gone now, sadly.
Sad face. I'm going to do a bit of housekeeping because I want to call out some stuff in the chat here. Scarcely Relevant gifted 20 XboxEra memberships to the YouTube channel.
I also have to call out. He also gifted us 3 Patreon memberships, which I'm going to put in chat right now. So if you have an XboxEra Patreon, you're up there as a free member, you can immediately redeem that.
Boom.
How about it?
There's discord.gg
Take one.
/XboxEra. Or click the link in the chat. That's very nice.
He also did a couple super chats.
He's got a couple of super chats as well. Yeah, he said, here's a $5 for the unemployed guy. He's referring to you, Destin.
See,
and then another
I have to bump in there before you read the other super chat. Destin, you'll find Nick will make that joke,
membership.
Right? But the reason is he doesn't actually think that there's any work to do because Nick doesn't actually do any work. Right?
That makes a lot
it's important to clarify this.
That explains why he can message me so often.
Yeah. He's not working at work either. But also, I need to clarify, they are 3 1-year $6 tier memberships.
Oh my God, really?
Wow.
Wow.
Yep.
Holy crap.
God damn.
Because the $6 tier is our fun, but $6 and above, you get all our video content. So.
Oh, wow. Thanks for that.
All our current content. We do something new, super expensive, we'd probably go higher.
Yeah. All right, go on. You can do the super chats now, and then we'll
he has another super chat. He said, "Oh, and the first surprise for Nick drops in 2 minutes. Then he can ask Jesse about the other one."
And that was it.
There you go.
The gifted subs and then the Patreon subs. Thanks heaps for that.
And we also had Isaac Hayes 85 join on the YouTube channel
as a supporter.
What a wonderful start to the show. Speaking of Patreon, Destin, and speaking of plugging it, of course, for those that perhaps missed your Twitter announcement or didn't watch your video, do you want to just kind of give a rundown on the angles and sort of stuff that you're planning to do and going for, just to educate everybody in the chat so they can go check it out?
Yeah, long story short, patreon.com/SaveStatePlus. It's where you can support me being independent, covering video games, and bringing you the best content I possibly can. When I was writing up the script for it, I just looked up basically the journalism standards, and it's like pursue the truth, which I said a few too many times in the video. Minimize harm, do your research, just be better, right? And I really wanted to have that at the heart of the statement that I made. And I've been trying to put that into action, like in the last few weeks, like making sure to actually do background on the stories that I'm reporting on. So like I haven't been jumping on a lot of these stories because I'm waiting to hear comment back. And then I want to make a really nice feature about it. So with support of patrons, I'm able to do that. Or YouTube memberships even. It's another way where I'm trying to figure out like, okay, how can I mirror the YouTube membership stuff with the Patreon stuff, and doing my best with that. But yeah, I mean, that's really what I'm trying to do. The first big thing that I have, though, it's an interview with Phil Spencer. It's coming next week. It's directly after the live stream that they are doing in the near future. Nice. And I already have the Greg Miller interview. Everything on Patreon. If you support on Patreon, I think it's the $10 tier and higher, you get all the video stuff completely ad-free, just on there. I still plan on doing news videos. Those will just go up because they're more timely. They'll go up at the same time on YouTube, but of course they're posted on Patreon ad-free with just, that's because of your support. Sorry. I'm looking at all the stuff that I've done so far and just making
It's
sure
all right.
it looks good.
There's a lot.
Yeah. So I've been posting regular updates like, hey, here's what I'm working on this week. Here's how much the Patreon has grown. Here's why I've been a little bit quieter. Like I did the coverage about the Nintendo Switch 2, and I broke down some of the features that were revealed really quickly and got that video up right away. And then I'm like, okay, well, you might be wondering what I've been working on. Well, here's everything that I can tell you about. And there's other stuff that I'm working on that like I'm not allowed to talk about yet, but I'm very excited about. So long story short, it has been great. It has definitely been something where I need to figure out the new normal for Destin versus what it was like at IGN, because I'm also a dad. I have 2 kids and a wife that I gotta worry about too.
Yep.
So it's a lot, but it's really exciting.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to, I hope I don't come off like I'm being negative. I feel calm. I feel excited. I'm really looking forward to what I'm able to create, and I'm a little nervous about how people are going to react to my content once it starts rolling out a little more regularly. I think that'll start like next week. But yeah, man, it feels really good.
Well,
Thanks for
the
asking.
really good,
mate.
I'll
heckle the shit out of you. Don't worry about it.
The really good news is friend of XboxEra, Tom Henderson, who I'm sure you've heard his name.
Yeah.
He has just added 10 tier 1 Patreon gifts for your Patreon.
Oh, thank you.
For people to go and pick up. So you might want to make some noise about it.
Thank you so much.
He just pinged me and he said, hey, let Destin know. So Tom Henderson being a pretty lovely bloke. He's got a bad rap, I feel, but he's a nice boy, really.
Should actually, do you want me to just put the link in chat, John?
Yeah, you can do. Put the link in chat
Go
for
get
folks to go grab them.
Easy though.
Thank you kindly.
We've got a generous community, like as you've seen.
Darren, you can get it for free.
It's amazing that the people that can watch your content, and as you build your own platform, they come forth and push you up. And then you get the collaboration with all the other kind of Patreon creators as well, which is awesome. So we appreciate you being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
No, it's a pleasure. Now, we
chats.
talked a little bit about the Nintendo Switch, but Nick wants to do some super chats, so I'll shut the hell up.
Yeah, I'll get him out of the way.
You can do
Scarcely
that.
Relevant again. Nick, I told you do a good job, and here's to that. Hey, see,
that's
you
why
all
you
think
wanted
I
to
don't
read
work.
that super chat.
I do a great job. Look at that. And David Brownfield, Destin, did you know that Game Pass is the best deal?
Yeah, I got that joke in the announcement video, but then people were like, "Oh, he's already advertising Game Pass."
The shill.
And the shill got Phil Spence. It's all a conspiracy. I'm like, no, I just think the joke's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny. I'm getting multiple people complaining to me that slow mode is broken in chat, so they can't type. It is not on. That's how broken YouTube is, bro. If you see people trying to talk and they can't, I apologize. YouTube has been terrible lately.
I don't know how long y'all have watched me on YouTube. I'll let you fix that, but I got to tell a little anecdote quick.
Go for it.
Yeah, go.
A long time ago, as a joke, because people were just being weird, I put a picture of Phil Spencer next to the family photos because Greg Miller used to have Shuhei Yoshida, and he would just have a framed picture of Shuhei Yoshida on his shelf, right? So it was sort of like from Greg doing that. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do the Greg joke. I'm going to do Phil Spencer because it'll really rile people up. To this day, I have people in the industry are like, how could he do this? Like, look at him. He has a picture of Phil Spencer. I'm like, it's a joke. It is like, why can't people lighten up like 2%?
I know, it's
lighten
full
up
on
2%. You know?
It's also very serious out there, apparently.
It's very serious. When I make my silly hand graph that everybody likes, it's just interesting to see what people have latched onto, which to me are just me goofing around. Like when I make a video, I think of it like I'm talking to Nick or I'm talking to a friend or just talking to somebody about gaming, right? I don't
hear that
think
just
of it.
then?
Huh?
Did you hear that just then? Talking to Nick or talking to a friend?
I wanted to make sure to separate them.
I love it.
He's so mad he can't handle it.
Oh God.
Oh no.
You need a better camera holder.
Carry on.
I know my camera. I have to get a new camera holder thing. because the other one I can't use
If
anymore.
we had any budget, I'd
Or
say
a
maybe we
friend.
can help you, but you don't do any work, so I'm not going to bother.
Yeah, and actually a patron today left a really great comment because it's exactly what I've been striving for. They're like, I really like how you mix your personal takes with the information that we want to know, because I don't script my videos. I got roasted because like when I was recording, I record sometimes at like 3 o'clock in the morning. The Halo Studios thing dropped, you work a full day, you come in, and then like the kids wake you up and you're like, oh, I want to record that Halo Studios video. So I go downstairs, I record it. And when I recorded that video, I forgot that 343 was a reference to 343 Guilty Spark. And an offhand comment, I'm like, I know it's a reference, but I can't remember what it is. People wrote novels about how bad that was.
I remember that.
I was just like, really?
Well, that's why the moment, like, if John ever did actually say Pillars of Exile live, people would not forget for a decade. They would lose their minds.
Yeah, it's true.
So it's like,
It's-
I literally
Pillars
got
of
like
Eternity.
40 other points of data correct in that video, but I offhandedly said, I know it's a reference, but I can't remember what it's to. I think it's a game reference or something like that. And people like roasted me. They still roast me for that. And it's fine.
Lost it.
Like, honestly, that's totally fine. Anytime I get criticism from the industry or from people who watch the show, I try and read through all the swear words and the anger and be like, I can fix that.
Yeah.
You know, so bring it on. You're
Most
gonna
of
bring it
those
on
swear words
anyway.
come from me, by the way.
Yeah,
most of
like
them
Nick
come from me.
criticizes me
Malacca.
sometimes, and somebody was trying to rile up a beef with somebody on the, I don't remember who it was.
That's
Like they're like, they drag Destin so many times, and
Yeah.
like that's fine.
We have a super
Honestly.
chat from someone who has had that happen from us to him, where people try and say, "Hey, Jez, they hate you at XboxEra," and it's people we have. It's almost always people we have banned either on the Discord or the forums for being shitheads because they just live off of the
Yes.
drama.
We have a super chat from Jez Gurdon. Awesome to see Destin on the second best Xbox podcast.
Wow. So Xbox Unlocked, you know, with Ryan McCaffrey, and then us.
Podcast that
Appreciate it.
is
And then
that podcast unlocked?
Podcast
Isn't that
Unlocked.
podcast
Yeah.
unlocked?
Yeah.
I
Yes.
can still go on that when I have the time. I didn't have the time this week, but I'll probably make time to do it again in the future. But
It's hard. There's so
there's a
many.
lot going
There's so
on.
many games coming out. There's so much
Yeah.
stuff.
It's
It's
so busy.
hard.
Yes.
We've
I
got
was on XB2+1.
And
at
you,
last.
Yep.
and didn't realize the
was
mics
that?
were still on.
And yeah, Jez left the mics on, and I nearly said some stuff that I wasn't meant to say, and Jez had the mics on, and everyone in the chat is going, we can still hear you guys talking. And Jez is like, oh shit, and Chicken cuts it off just before I was about to say, oh my god, Jez, are you serious right now?
Dear, oh dear.
Oh Jesus.
Tom's in here waiting for you to break the next scoop, so you better watch.
Yeah. Well, no scoop breaking from Mr. Baker.
Tom
here.
knows infinitely
we'll
more,
see.
anyways.
Now, Switch 2. I'm going to try and get you guys back on.
No,
track.
what games have we been playing?
Oh, okay. All right. We want to do that because I can't really talk
Isn't
about
that what we
much, but
normally do?
We can do it. Yeah,
I,
go on.
and I
What
told
games
Nick
have we been
before the
playing?
show, literally, I don't think John and I can talk about anything. I've
Huh.
only been playing.
Any of the games
Oh,
you've been playing?
Mr. Fancy's over here.
So I've done an Eternal Strands review. I've got Orcs Must Die Death Trap, and I've got one. What the hell else do I have? We try to cover everything that's coming to Game Pass, along with little indie things that we like. So I also have Sniper Elite Resistance. I can't say anything about them. I also did a preview for Assassin's Creed Shadow. Can't talk about that till Thursday. That's what I've been playing.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's similarly, I've been playing a game.
Lonely Mountain Snow
The
Riders.
end of the story.
What
We were
about you,
joking.
Destin? What have you been playing?
What did John call it? Pillars of Exile.
Yeah, Pillars of Exile, Pillars of
We were meant to
Eternity.
be pals. Why are you
I
doing
have-
this to me?
I have 170 hours. Well, my last assignment at IGN was to figure out the end game of Path of Exile 2, and I wrote a script and I sent it off to my former boss, right like the day that I left. But I have like 160 hours in that game now. I love Path of Exile 2. It is it's a really good game. Yeah.
Thanks, Jez.
Wow.
Gifted
Jez.
subs from Jez.
We
Jez
are desperate.
Gurdon.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Jez.
Thanks,
Really
Jez
appreciate
Gurdon.
it.
Yeah, it's good to see you, Jess.
Apparently, the upgrade tree, skill tree thing in Path of Exile is like insane. It's like
It's-
veins, and it's just
people
like crazy.
have this reaction when they see it, but just so you know, it's really not as bad as it's made out to be.
It is logically laid out while being absolutely enormous. Like once
It's
you
like,
understand it,
start here.
yeah.
Do you want attack power or do you want to
Mm.
attack more regular, like faster? And then you kind of go down it, and then eventually you got to like look at the nodes that branch out. But that's
Mm.
like you're like 30 hours into the game by the time you really need to think about the passive tree.
Well, I mean,
And
Elon
then-
Musk was 5 minutes into the game when he was already
Yeah,
max
right.
level with all the best gear. So
Yeah, and I started a second character. It goes way faster when you roll your second. And well, I mean, that's just the time I have on /played. You got to remember, I also did like 3 previews for IGN, so that's like 3 hours a pop for all of those classes. We played it at Summer of Gaming. I had a build of a character that just got deleted that probably had 60 hours. So the game's freaking great. I can't recommend Path of Exile 2 enough. You have to get it through early access right now. I think it's $30.
yeah, 30 is the cheapest.
But you get currency if you get early access, and you should buy your stash tabs. You should buy just the cheapest version of the stash tabs to start, and then as you learn more, you can figure it out.
You want to
from
know
there.
something funny, Destin? I have the $370 version because when they sent a code, I think it was supposed to be the $30 one, but it was the $370 one, and I didn't complain.
Nice.
Get.
Oh my god.
So I
Great
mean, I have to ask Destin, like,
Yeah.
because especially when it comes to live service type of like eat your life games, like Pillars of Exile, haha, right? How do you find the time with all the other stuff you have to do?
Oh, I
Like, how
don't
do you
sleep.
do it? Is it a juggling act?
I don't sleep. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
when people
same-
ask
same
me.
as everyone
answer.
else.
When people ask
No, in
me
all
how do I review
seriousness,
so much, you don't sleep.
In all seriousness, it got to a really unhealthy place for me with my sleep schedule, and more lately I've been trying to balance it out a little bit better to just because sleep is very important to your overall health and getting like you need 7-8 hours. No, like before I left IGN, I was getting like 3-4 hours sleep a night because just no lifing Path of Exile 2. And that's not anything about
it's just
IGN.
'cause you
That's
enjoy
I
it.
like the game
Yeah.
so much, and like I wanted to play it at night, and time would just go by, and I would blink, and it's like 2:00 in the morning, and then my kids, they started getting up at like 5 every day. So
That's him
it-
every
it
Sunday.
used to be they would wake up pretty consistently at 7 or 8, but then I had to figure out a new reality because that's 3 hours of sleep a night is not going to work. So yeah, I started going to bed a little earlier. Long story short.
That was my first few years here where I was just trying to get as much out as possible to help us grow. I've found the better balance where I'm 7-8 hours every night, but it is thankfully have a comfy chair, especially if they send it to you for a review, because it's still like people are, how do you review so much? And it's because I'm just sitting in this chair for like 10, 12, 13 hours most days. It's fun.
I'll only accept payment in cyberpunk chairs.
We're hoping to have Paris on, I think, after the Dev Direct. So hopefully next.
I didn't say anything about Paris.
Yeah, I know you.
There is a history with Paris and
There is
our
a history
forum.
of this.
Yeah, so he
Interesting.
joined our forum, and the immediate thing when he said hi was some asshole giving him shit about the chair, and he just was like, "All right,
He's
see you
out of
later."
the chair.
Yeah, it's like, oh my
The
God.
chair's haunted him. Bless him.
Yeah.
My chair
But,
costs
yeah.
twice as much, and no one's ever said shit. And I've gotten
You
3.
know what I've been playing?
Oh,
Thanks to Jesse and
You're
Nintendo
welcome.
of America, I've been playing Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. Hey, man.
Your
I miss
5th
that game
time
so
through
much.
How do you miss it? It's been re-released 4 other times.
Turns out I own the game 3 times. So I bought it on disc on Wii, then I bought it digitally on Wii U, and now I've got it again on Switch. Donkey Kong Country Returns is so good. I played like the first level 17 times yesterday because I was just like trying to collect everything and do the quick speed runs, and God, it's such a good game.
How's the
Such a
the music remix, and how does it feel?
I can't tell the difference between the Wii original and this one. It feels the same. I mean, whether it's not it's not as tight as Super Mario Brothers Wonder, and not much is outside of Prince of Persia and the Lost Crown. But it still feels good. Like they've obviously, for those who have played the original, Retro did a really good job of keeping Rare's quirky. You know how you do that roll jump thing where if you want to get across a larger distance, you can do that roll. The roll takes you like halfway across the jump. Then you jump and you make the rest of the distance. So they kept all those mechanics. It's got a little bit of slip and slide like Nintendo's kind of known for. The music remix, I'll be honest with you, I don't listen intently enough to be able to tell the difference between the original's music and
do you like it?
The current one. Yeah.
You like the current one? Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite levels are those silhouette levels though. I love those levels that just have that. All you see is silhouette, just this beautiful sunset in the background, and then you've just got the silhouette up front. It looks so bloody good. But I'm sure there'll be a bunch of YouTube videos coming out soon talking about all the differences between the original and the new one and how shitty the new one is, and it's the worst. Don't buy it because that's what YouTube does. That's what YouTube is now. But I absolutely love it. So I'm making my way through now. I only just got the code off Jesse yesterday, so I haven't had a ton of time because I've been at the beach and that's why my head is sunburnt. So I've just put as much time as I could yesterday into it, and I am absolutely loving it. So good.
Is it coming to Xbox anytime soon? Or?
I think so, yeah.
You just have to go into dev mode, run your emulators, and away you go.
Can you imagine how much money Nintendo would make if they released their games on PC?
They'd make a lot.
They'd make an app, but also I think it would immediately kill buying a Nintendo console overnight. Right?
Why? Why do you think that's the case?
Because
I don't believe that's true.
I think it would do more harm than good for Nintendo specifically because their hardware is holding back their games, their engines.
Like
it is a little bit.
I think Jesse's played a version of Breath of the Wild in 4K on PC, right?
Yeah, Breath of the Wild in 4K. Most of their stuff in 4K with versions I own ripped from those versions.
So 60 FPS, 4K, like just being able to do that for the aged Nintendo fan, which is a lot of Nintendo fans, the greybeards love their Nintendo. I feel like they would immediately be like, oh, hell's yeah. Day one, straight over there. Thanks very much. Imagine playing Super Smash Brothers on an ultra wide where you can see more of the stage and everything's like running at 120 FPS or something. I'd be in love. I'd be in hog heaven.
Have you seen the Star Fox project? Have you seen that Star Fox project on PC? They've released it now. It's like a fully PC developed version of Star Fox 64. And it's ultra wide and everything. Looks amazing.
And they haven't killed it yet. They haven't like immediately
not
sent
yet.
the ninjas.
They will.
Not yet. They haven't, and it looks incredible.
They went out of their way to retroactively copyright mechanics from Pokemon so that they could sue Pal World. If you think that some Star Fox fan remake isn't going to get DMCA'd or taken down, you're wrong. Nintendo's going after them for sure.
It's such a shame, man.
Like, and even if there isn't a legal precedent, they will just go to you and hand you a bunch of money to go away. Like they did with the emulator. Ryu Jinx wasn't breaking any law. They didn't have any copyrighted material in their emulator. Their emulator site never gave free stuff. So Nintendo just found who was making it and said, hey, threw money at them. Never make this again. The end.
Yeah, we'll give you $20 million to stop making that. Oh, okay.
Now everyone needs to go learn how to make a new one.
Yeah.
I need to learn how to make an emulator.
Clearly. But yeah, look, we're on the subject of Nintendo now.
Hell yeah.
The Switch 2 got announced. We touched on it earlier. We saw, and everyone was like, is that a new Mario Kart? I believe it is. Right?
Is.
It's a new Mario Kart.
24 racers.
Mario Kart 10, because they consider 9 to be World Tour on mobile. We'll see if they keep up with that. But
do we know that for a fact, though?
They said
that for a fact, though.
It is a thing they said. We don't know if they'll stick to it.
Yeah, I'll be intrigued. But I mean, that's going to be the launch title, right? And you saw the animation in the console reveal of the new Wiimote
being mouse.
Yeah, like slid along like race cars, right? And I think Maximilian
Stick
dude
drift?
did like a jokey video where he's like pretending to race on surfaces as if he's driving the car by just running it over the chair. Like, how do you think that's going to work in reality? Does anyone have? Is it just going to be a mouse pointer so you can play Civilization on Switch 2? What's the thoughts?
Well, it's weird because you don't have a keyboard to go with it. So like those games are set up for mouse and keyboard. So I think mouse and joystick could work, but you still need more buttons than that most of the time.
What if the mouse pointer functionality is a way of replacing the Wii remote pointer functionality, and they're going to bring Wii and Wii U games to NSO?
Somebody pointed out that sensor, this is the old one, but like you could put it on your table, and then because it's a mouse, you could like take it up and you could rotate objects and things like that. And I think it was a game designer who was talking about that. That's actually really exciting. The fact that you could manipulate objects in the game world by doing things like that. I think that's an interesting mechanic that could be leveraged. I would be curious to see how it would work if you have a joystick in one hand and then like a mouse in another. But the fact that the functionality is even there, like just pretending to do it, it's pretty clear that it could work quite well.
Yeah.
Because Lenovo Legion Go, I remember Jesse showing me, they have a thing where you can take the dock off, place it in like a stand, and it becomes a mouse pointer, which is really nifty. And you know, I'm all for Nintendo's gimmicks. Like sometimes they do really fun things. They don't always work, but if Nintendo can do it, like I want to see what they pull off here. I'm intrigued. Yeah. It's got a little mouse.
Well, I don't know. I'm hoping that part of it is replacing Wii pointer functionality with a mouse little thing, and they bring Wii and Wii U to Virtual Console. That's what I'm hoping for.
It'd be cool if they solved that. We'll find out.
Yeah, that's
on
right.
the 2nd of February.
We'll find out some stuff on the
4th of Feb.
I was talking with Nick. It definitely feels like people in Europe or America saw the dates and reversed them because we do them differently. And that's why everyone's saying February for games. Like, no.
I kept updating my tweet. I was like, February 2nd. No, April 2nd. No, and then the website actually wrote it out. So
I don't know why they didn't write it out in the video.
There's a lot of 2020, like 2 out. So they did this reveal, and then in 2 months, in 20 days or something like that, or 2 months and 2 days, and then their showcases for it are 2 hours and 20 minutes long. Like the 2 and 2 is on everything with this reveal, so it's probably going to be like June 4th for the release, most likely around there. Because their events, their worldwide events to go see this experience that is 2 hours and 20 minutes long, and like the 1st of June. So did Jeff Keighley.
22nd.
Yeah, it could be the 22nd.
It wouldn't release that soon, surely.
No, June 22nd.
So when did the Switch event happen, and then when did the Switch come out?
October and
March.
March.
So they've moved everything over by 3 months, is what I estimate. So they were October to March, go over 3 months, January to June.
Okay, so they did the world events like at the 3 locations. They did those in March, you said?
No, it released in March.
The
original Switch released in March.
Yeah, so they released in March.
Or later in the year.
So, yeah, it was I had received a message saying June release, which I said nothing about because I stay away from Nintendo shit. But then when I saw they didn't give a release, and then I saw all the experience events leading right up until May, I'm like, holy shit, maybe they were right about June. Maybe June is the release date. But then they also gave me a price in that same message, and I'm like, oh God, if they were right about June, does that mean they're right about the price?
My price guess was $449, and I think I saw you tweet that that was your price.
Yeah, well, that's what they told me. They told me they gave me 2 prices, $449, $499, with the higher price they assume is a bundle.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
with Mario Kart or something.
I guess so. Maybe a Mario Kart bundle. But I'm like, oh God, $499 would be 800 Australian. That's so much money for a Switch. So much.
But that's not real money, so.
That's why you need so much of it.
He gets in on the joke. Oh my God.
The Canadian or something.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so expensive. If that's what it ends up being, oh God, I hope that's wrong. I'm hoping for $399.
I'm not. I'm
I don't know,
expecting everything to cost more and more.
PlayStation said the $750 price point didn't negatively impact the PlayStation 5 Pro sales. So I think people are less price averse than we believed.
I don't know.
So
I think
far.
you know.
But that price has to be like PlayStation's expectations for the Pro would obviously be hugely different to Nintendo's expectations for the Switch 2. So
I think it'll be. I imagine $399 would make a lot of people happy
yes.
if that's like the top, or $399 with a $449 bundle.
Yeah.
I love the look of it,
$499. Like how much is a Series X? It's about that. It's $599.
$499. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, the market price is kind of set at $499 then, if that's the.
And I think Microsoft and Sony both wish they had gone at 600.
I when I had to buy a PlayStation again, I got this Slim for $375 or something.
Oh, really? Is that a normal Slim back there, or is that a 30th anniversary?
That's just I don't know. I went to PlayStation.com and I said, give me the cheapest PlayStation.
The normal.
Yeah. I returned the Pro because I didn't touch it for 30 days. So I had it for 28 days. It just sat there.
You're in the right place.
Yeah. I'm just going to return it. Like I'll get it when Grand Theft Auto comes out, but there was nothing that I was going to need the Pro for coming in the few months. Most of the games I would play on PC. And yeah, that's sort of where I was at with PlayStation. And that's not a dunk on PlayStation. They just don't have a lot happening right now. I hope that changes. Like I want to hear Wolverine's coming, and like
we'll talk about what's coming soon because there's some news there too. But
are you talking about the rumored February thing?
Oh no, the game cancellations.
Well, those aren't coming.
Yeah, that's right. That's
coming
exactly
soon.
Right. But what do we think? What did we think of the look of the Switch 2? Even though it's exactly what was already leaked, we basically had the whole thing leaked beforehand.
Everyone's mad about the bezels, and I'm just like,
no, I don't get that either.
Great, like I don't. Bevel means like the curve, right?
How much space is between the edge of the screen and the actual edge of the device? So there's still like a pretty big gap, like compared to a phone where there's a little tiny gap of the bevel, but on the Switch there's
bezel.
Still bezel. Sorry, there's still a
but there's still
bezel.
It's still a bigger screen though.
Yeah,
it's significantly bigger. I did a little Photoshop mock-up on the video I did, and it's significantly larger. Basically, I took their screen of the original unit versus the new one, and I made a little square, and then I put it over to show just how much more screen space you're getting. If you dig up the video I did on the Switch, you can probably scrub to it if you want to just bring up that still. But it's a substantial improvement in screen space. My question is, because by my math, it's a 25% screen increase, but there's a little bit that gets shaved off of the top bar on the comparison. And the leaks put it at 8.4, but a 25% increase would be 8.75. And that means it's like larger than the Go, I think.
It'd be 0.05 smaller. The Go's 8.8.
8.
Yeah,
Well,
the Go's humongous with tiny bezels. The rumor around the Switch 2 that I've heard, and who knows the veracity of it, was the old rumors about a Switch Pro, and then kind of holding off and saying, no, we won't do a Pro, but using that as a basis for the Switch 2, which I think makes a lot of sense when this is a bigger, better Switch, seemingly based on older tech and not, no bleeding edginess to it. It's like an older, potentially 8-nanometer Samsung process that, if it is that, by the time this comes out, it's 7 years old, whereas the Switch tech was 3 years old at the time. So I'm really curious what it ends up being performance-wise.
I reported on some leaks that came out a long time ago, but apparently Nintendo had been stockpiling components. So do you think there's any components in this unit that are able to be reused from older, like maybe the buttons? The buttons look pretty close.
Yeah. They, I wouldn't be shocked.
The little
They're-
rubber pads that the buttons press on.
They're very
whatever.
good with their costs and stuff, especially in comparison to the next later in the news, who are struggling with margins. Nintendo are very good at keeping their costs down, and I do think actually not being on PC is one of the main reasons for that, because they've never pushed higher than 1080p. They don't have to have those graphical pipelines. They don't have to push all the bells and whistles on their hardware, and people are okay with it because they just want fun things to play. And if they're a little ugly in comparison to some other ones, who cares? There's still plenty that are very pretty. And
There's things to criticize the Nintendo for. The one thing I very much appreciate about them, though, is they have decided this is where our profit margin needs to be. Here's how many units we think we're going to sell. Here's like our install base. Here's our calculation about how much money we're going to be making. And they are fine with making enough money. They don't seem to need all the money. There's some things we can criticize them for, but they seem they're just in their own world. Sony is struggling with the reality now that they tried to get all the money and ended up with none of the money, negative 300 $400 million or whatever the rumors were for Concord, and they have to figure out their new strategy, which is unfortunate because I think they had kind of figured it out, and then I think they kind of got caught with their hand in the cookie jar in that looter shooter cookie jar, so to speak. See how that all ends up panning out.
like chasing trends is fine if you do it smartly. Like they chased trends early in the decade in the 2010s, and it went really well. They chased the trying to figure out ways to monetize things more. But then when you go from we have the best remake studio in the business and we're going to make them do something they have no idea, that's the more Warner Brothers Embracer, like just completely off base thing you waste so much time with. And even there are light rumors, and who knows the veracity of them, that Nintendo and all this is pushed back because they're trying to make sure they have a better launch lineup than they did with the or a more comprehensive launch lineup than they had with the Switch. And it's hard to get everything lined up.
Metroid Prime 4, man. It's all I need.
Unfortunately, that
Metroid
series
Prime
does
4.
not sell. Never has.
This one will, because it's a launch title. And that's when everyone buys the games at launch. But man, like,
people have bad taste.
I haven't done
Go.
that in so long. Like, you think about how old school console launches used to be, and I think the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be the only old school console launch, really. I mean, yes, it's backwards compatible, which is great, but like, if Nintendo have successfully planned out that they're going to have a really banging Switch 2 exclusive launch lineup, right, straight out of the gate, I feel that doesn't happen so much nowadays. Like,
Why?
if it's just because everything's on everything.
PlayStation
all the time.
made their like handful of we're just going to keep these off PS4, and they had some PS5 launch titles. Microsoft just kept putting all their stuff out and didn't hold it back and artificially limit it because they felt people weren't going to push for upgrades that much, and they've kind of been right. They're PC upgrades, and PC upgrades are harder to just justify keeping games stuck on. Like, it just, if you're putting something out, unless there's really some reason, it's going to take years before devs are like, okay, we've had this hardware long enough, we're now doing the things that only work on this hardware.
Yeah. Like,
how do we feel about the
new...
look? The look of the Switch.
I like
the
it.
All charcoal with the charcoal. The all charcoal with the colored highlights underneath it.
It's more grown up.
I love it. It's so nice.
It's sleek.
Yeah, it's super sleek.
I, for one, wish there were more bezels.
Yeah.
No, I really like the look of it.
Yeah, it's so I love it, and I'm interested to see how they go. Like, I'm imagining, like, because they've gone charcoal as opposed to black, and the tradition with consoles has always been black and white. I like that they've gone charcoal, because that to me might also indicate that opposed to making a white variant later down the line, they might do like an eggshell or off-white or like a creamy type color, and ooh, that could look nice as well. That would look so.
You're going to own 17 of them by the time the generation ends, so you'll have every color imaginable.
I might.
Yeah, I'm kind of terrified of the click design. Because like
Oh,
I can just
everybody has
picture,
talked about the little bar. And
Yeah, the little nib at the
Yeah.
end there.
I can just picture snapping that.
Why?
I don't know.
I don't think.
I hope not. It just scares me. I'm like, please don't snap off. Or like my kids snapping it off. I'm sure Nintendo.
To
have
me,
thought about
the
this,
indication is that the Joy-Cons, you won't be able to take them off forward. You'd have to go side, like out.
I promise you, there's going to be someone who's
Mango.
going to try and who's just going to get mad, or kids will just be squeezing it without thinking about it. Like any entry point is always a weakness. So I hope it's over engineered for kids.
I'm sure they'll be fine.
Yeah.
I reckon Nintendo knows what they're doing.
Because also, if they come off too easy, then you just drop the tablet. So they can't.
Yeah.
But it won't come off too easy.
That's what I'm
Again,
saying.
my assumption is
If
they
it
know what
won't
they're
come
doing.
off too easy, then that is more leverage on your fulcrums.
You say, Nick, that Nintendo knows what they're doing. And indeed, according to Famitsu, they absolutely do. There was a report earlier this week that Nintendo has now successfully dominated the Japanese game sales market for 20 consecutive years. So,
I mean, that's old news, isn't it?
yeah, but it's like that's fact now. That's out there. I mean,
The trailer, the Switch 2 trailer in Japan specifically has gone nuts. Like, it's surpassed
surprised.
everything. Like, Japan is going to gobble that thing up like nobody's business.
On
like-
Twitter, when we talk about console sales, I'm just going to start talking about how Nintendo is doing versus PlayStation, and just say, man, I hope PlayStation can get it together, and I hope they can hold on versus Nintendo. Oh man, they've only sold 60 million units. Well, PlayStation
Is that
sold
all?
twice
God,
that.
what a disaster.
Or Nintendo
That's what the
sold twice
Xbox
of
One
that.
sold. And that's what
Yeah.
that was a shit
Oh,
console.
no. Oh my goodness.
Man,
Hope they're gonna be
PS5 only
okay.
sold 60.
I mean, when you
man.
hear people, Destin, that say, you know, they want X platform out of the industry, or the X
No,
platform
that would be-
sucks.
That would be very. If they want Xbox out, they're working against their own best interests. You want Microsoft in the market, because more competition means that everybody has to figure out new things, and they push each
That's
other
right.
in interesting ways. You know, Nintendo had to figure out how to bring their older games back, probably because other people in the industry were advancing how they handle backwards compatibility, and these companies look at each other. If you think they don't, you're mistaken. They absolutely do. And you know, people from Microsoft go to PlayStation, and people from PlayStation go to Xbox, and people from Nintendo, like all of these companies work together to push each other forward, and I think it's a positive thing. I think it would be very unfortunate if Microsoft or Xbox got out of the business, not only because of, like, I mean, how many people you're
Over
talking
20,
about?
like 17, 18, 20,000.
Yeah, you're talking about 20,000 people just out of work, and there's not enough jobs at PlayStation and Nintendo for those people to go to. Those people would just, I don't even know what they would do. They do.
Well,
a
it's the
whole
same
different
thing people
industry.
say it about Ubisoft, and Ubisoft is as much, if not more, just by themselves. And it's like, oh, I hate I get hating the execs, but you want them to fix things, not break apart, because that just is a potential thing that's going to come up when we talk about PlayStation. When things get canceled, people normally get fired.
One thing I do understand the criticism for how Microsoft handled the layoffs and the layoffs that happened after Activision was acquired and everything. Totally get it. But there is no reality where Bobby Kotick would not have done layoffs.
Yeah.
Like, Activision absolutely would have had layoffs,
That was-
regardless of, like, first there probably would have been layoffs if the deal didn't go through, because you're talking about Bobby losing his golden parachute.
And they doubled their
Right.
headcount during the deal.
Yeah, they doubled their headcount during the deal. So, like, there were a lot of things leading up to a bad situation for Activision, but then it's always like, oh, Microsoft's bad. It's like, well, I can agree that I don't like the layoffs that happened. I think it sucks, right? It's happening across the industry, happened at PlayStation, happened everywhere, but the number is really big at Microsoft, so it's really frustrating and unfortunate. Layoffs would have happened had Activision remained independent, though. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that Bobby Kotick was ruthless. He literally canned 10,000 people. I don't want to get the number wrong. Maybe it was 1,000 people. 10,000 seems too much.
They were at 7,000
1,000.
before being bought and went up to 1,700 ish during being bought.
Okay, yeah, I got my numbers a little squirrely there, but it wasn't good. It wasn't good
No.
under Kodak. He was laying people off regularly, and if you think the economic downturn wouldn't have impacted them, it absolutely would have. Like Diablo's doing well, but it's probably not. It's not doing well as Path of Exile right now. Call of Duty started strong. Call of Duty's on. They're getting into their groove, into whatever they're going to look like for sustainability for the next year. But I disagree with the reports that it's like some sort of disaster. It's like the #1 Call of Duty that they've done in a long time. So I don't really understand why people are making it out to be bad, and they're not even considering COD Mobile. They're not considering Warzone. Like Call of Duty's fine.
Well, it was that report. The report. I say report. It was a blog post on a pay for access thing called The Information. It's like $300 to subscribe to it a month.
Is that where we're going now?
I guess, but like just.
Well, I don't want to dive into that too much. That's actually one of the things I'm working on because I wanted to go through on their points and just be like, because I think some of it's warranted criticism, some of it's based in reality, and some of it, like Call of Duty is bad. I'm just like, by what metric?
Like,
you
can't look at
what are you talking about?
ABK
and you can't
itself
have stuff
with King
you can't
alone.
Pardon? Sorry.
I was just saying ABK itself is King as much as anything. So you can't just look at the deal as Call of Duty either.
Yeah. So you can't have things in there as fact that just don't have the data to back it up, intermixed with factually accurate things, because it lessens your overall report. So I think that report is good in some respects, but it gets into a problematic nature because everyone's like, oh yeah, poor $1 trillion company, how are they going to survive? I'm like, I think they know what they're doing. Sometimes.
Yeah,
probably.
Sometimes.
I think that
I don't know.
if you look at the broader industry, we've had this conversation before. If you look at Bethesda before they were acquired, right? They had started making live service games with Wolfenstein Youngblood. Redfall was clearly planned to be a live service game, right? And then, they looked at the market and acquisition made sense, and Microsoft got them, great. And they pivoted and they didn't have to do that. But I think in a world where Microsoft hadn't have acquired Bethesda, you would have seen ZeniMax make some very tough decisions about studios, as critically acclaimed and brilliant as things like Prey and Dishonored were. They didn't sell great, which is why you saw them try to do these other things. Because this is the problem. And I kind of want to get into this with you, Destin, because I think this is the biggest thing facing this industry at the moment. Is we live in a world now where, you've got these giant games that people have still playing, and they're quite happy on their PS4 or their Xbox One or their phone, right? Because they're everywhere, and they're mobile and they're console. And as we talked about, younger folks don't give a monkeys where they play. And any game now releasing, and January already has been nuts, right? I think we were discussing earlier, there's something like 4 or 5 reviews all in one day. Like, we're like, do these guys not talk about embargoes with each other? Like, this is insane.
Well,
but a lot of these are going to fail because they're just playing the big games still. And it's really hard for game developers to actually crack through and break through and make noise.
Well, the Assassin's Creed embargo that everybody's tweeted about, it's the same day as the Xbox. So it's like in the morning, the Assassin's Creed stuff is going to come out, and then you have this Xbox event
an hour later,
and who knows what else is happening that day. And then you look at the game releases. Assassin's Creed is in March. You have Monster Hunter Wilds in February, late February. Before that, you have Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. You have Avowed. Path of Exile 2 is still going strong. You have Marvel Rivals this month. Like it's crazy. There's a lot happening, and it's the console reveal that we were talking about together on the show. There's just so many things happening, and it's not even through January yet.
Yeah, we have 38 things that we have put in for review codes for already this year, which is insane to have that many things this early.
It's crazy. I just wonder what do you think the industry do to survive? Like, I'm heading to, I don't know if you're going, the DICE Summit in Vegas next month. I don't know if you're going. If you are, I'll see you there. But
I'm not.
But I'm intrigued to be like, what's that topic of conversation? Because is there a sustainable path forward? And one of the things I really liked hearing from Microsoft last year, and I think is actually Jez reported on it, was that they have broken out smaller teams within these AAA studios to work on smaller things, because they've looked at the success of stuff like Grounded. 12 people made that huge success for the cost risk side of it. And I personally, as a greybeard, I want shorter games that don't ask me to give up an entire 160 hours, for example. That's what I want. But I don't know if everybody is with me on that. So it's going to be interesting to see how the industry kind of gets over this weird, how do we get people back to buying games and being excited about them again?
In the PlayStation leak, I think we got a peek into what we're going to see in the near future. I don't know why you have a hat on now, but okay. So they
He's a great beard.
said that Spider-Man 2, which I believe was $300 million.
Yeah.
It added all these cool things, like you could jump through the fast travel system faster. It was like instantaneous. It was really cool, really zippy. But their ROI on the game was nowhere near what Miles Morales did. So if you look at Miles Morales, I think we get more games like that. I think that's what the future is going to hold, because the players really responded well to it. The length was about where it needs to be in terms of like what people have time to digest. And the big competing factor isn't so much like the other games that people are living in. Well, actually, let me rephrase. That is a part of the equation, but it's also YouTube, it's Twitch, it's Netflix, it's all of these other things distracting your attention.
Not TikTok.
So not TikTok for like a day and then it's going to get a pass or whatever. So all of these things are competing for your attention, and everybody wants your attention. Everybody wants you to be doing something, and they want you to be constantly scrolling. They want you to be constantly on your YouTube Shorts feed. They want you getting that dopamine hit. And games have to figure out where they fit in all that, especially when there's a player like Fortnite, which is where most people live, or whatever the most popular mobile game is, where most people will just play on their phone because of ease of access. So going forward, I think for there to be survivability, I think we need to get back to that like 6 to 8 hour spot with video games. And I think that was a pretty sweet spot we were in for a long time. Every once in a while you would get a game like Mass Effect that would come along, and Mass Effect 1 was like 30, 40 hours if you know,
a chunky game
and did everything. And that was considered large. But nowadays gamers are saying, I want 200 3-hour games, and it's like, well, that's I don't think that's going to be the norm.
And it shouldn't be.
And inversely, I think it's also negatively impacted game design to the point where game design is being made worse because they're trying to arbitrarily get you to spend more time in their worlds, because more time means you can be another point of sale at the microtransaction store or whatever. And then microtransactions are a problem, because as soon as you add microtransactions in the game, it negatively impacts overall design philosophy. Because I did an interview with Jonathan Rogers, and he said we have to be really careful with microtransactions, because what starts happening, just because of the nature of human beings, are the question starts being asked, how can we monetize this? And we have to make sure that our designers don't go down that path, because it's very easy to start doing that. It's like, no, make the best stuff that you possibly can. This stuff is bonus. You can't fall down that rabbit hole. And I do think, unfortunately, a lot of companies have, like, I criticize Bungie quite regularly for the fact that they're able to regularly come up with all new armor sets, and yet the sandbox, like, we haven't had anything particularly compelling for years. And like, you beat a raid, you get an armor set that you don't really want, you actually have to buy the cooler looking one in the store for that additional upsell. And so man, it's a multifaceted problem that I think, and I said this around the Activision time, I think we are going to see a bit of a reset point in the industry. And part of that is, unfortunately, all these layoffs that we're seeing, these restructurings that we're seeing at these companies. And I think we are going to eventually establish what a new normal looks like. But right now, it's very clear that with the PlayStation news the other day, their hand got caught in the cookie jar. 2021 didn't last forever. Surprise, everybody. We're back to where we were pre-COVID days when people actually have to go to work and leave their houses and worry about other things. And you're going to have to figure out new growth avenues that don't require a $400 million investment.
What you said earlier is what I've been saying here for years. If Sony still wants to, and not just Sony, whoever wants to keep doing their big tentpoles, they can. But you've got those assets, you've built those worlds. Why not make smaller expander-alones like Miles Morales and sell them a little bit less, shorter experiences, but that cost a fraction of what the main game did, and get like Hive Busters, like Infamous First Light, like Miles Morales. More stuff like that. Forza Horizon 2 presents Fast and the Furious. I love all those shorter games. They're great, and they cost so much less.
I'd also
take
argue,
less of your
though,
time.
from a development perspective, even, and you know, all studios do this to a degree, but Sony's output in terms of like God of War, Ragnarok, Miles Morales, Spider-Man 2, they are all iterative based on the previous one design. That's quicker, arguably, to build. Like, don't get me wrong, Insomniac are an incredible studio, but there is another reason why they're able to do that so quickly, is because they're not building from scratch again. You know, they are okay. Well, this worked before, so we'll add this, like in typical sequel style. I think the new one from Naughty Dog that got announced, that's the first like
Intergalactic.
You know, yeah, that's the first genuinely new IP I think we've seen from Sony for a while.
Maybe.
Right? Like even Ghost of Yota is it's a sequel, you know, like it's going to build on what came before. And you know,
when did Tsushima come out? Was that 2020, 2021?
That was PS4 gen, wasn't it?
Or 2019?
2019, I
I
think.
can't even remember when Tsushima. Oh, 2019. Okay.
Yeah, I
No,
mean,
2020.
they're all kind
It
of
was
doing this,
2020.
but we're seeing these studios kind of realize, you know, and people are talking about, you know, Halo Studios is a prime example. They've looked at what are the costs of trying to do this in our own engine. It's really costing us time, so let's go switch to Unreal. I don't know. It's a fascinating problem, and I said at the beginning of this generation that this would be the most interesting gen thus far, and I think it has been. Probably a bit boring as well, but interesting for sure.
There's been so many amazing games that I don't think it's been boring. I think for people that actually just like playing things, no.
Yeah.
For people who are in the bubble and really looking for drama, there's been a lot of that too.
Yeah, too much drama.
Super chats? A couple of super chats?
Yeah, go for them. Deal with some
Break it
super
up a
chats,
bit,
please.
because screw all three of you and the fact that I have to do these timestamps after this. Because I don't know what the fuck's going on.
We are all for tangents galore, Destin. Feel free to keep doing that.
Super chat.
If it makes Nick's life harder, then yeah.
Absolutely right.
Jay Foley. Could we all be thinking too hard and the surprise location and surprise new game for the Direct just be Halo Studios showing off a new Halo game?
No, that's a June type
Nah,
show.
mate.
No.
I already know the games.
Everyone knows. Everyone
It
keeps
ain't
saying it
Halo.
online. And Halo is a showcase thing.
Final Fantasy VII finally coming to Xbox. Thanks for revealing it, Nick.
Yeah.
No worries, mate. That's what I'm here for. Yes, fourth game and maybe a fifth.
What?
Why are you doing this? Why are you doing
Oh,
this?
that was literally what Jez was teasing on Twitter.
I know.
'cause Nick-
I've already told Jez off because
I know, because
Well,
what we
literally
know
posted
these
How do I
Jez
get
saying-
CC'd on these leaks? Like, how come you and Jez?
Maybe
and
if you
Tom-
replied to DMs, Destin, you would find out. But you go, leave Nick on read for 3 months.
Nick,
Well, there you
Jez,
go,
and
mate.
Rand all hang out, and they can't stop teasing things because I don't care what Rand says. He's part of the same freaking group. They all just can't help themselves. They must leak.
That's the kind of dragging that you got, Destin. That's like he just dragged Rand. That's what happened. That's what someone was referring to in the
Ooh.
community.
Rand
Yeah,
likes
I'm
teasing.
Dragging them.
Rand in his
Disgusting.
predictions has done it to himself.
Rand
as
is
I
great.
like him.
I think Rand stopped by. I think Nick, you might have too when I did my first stream. I streamed that first week when I was independent. So yeah.
Yeah, Rand's a good egg.
You
Love doing Rand.
usually are streaming right as I'm starting work in the morning. So I have my Mac here to my right and I have that open, and I usually will have a podcast or someone streaming in the background, and usually around that time of the morning is usually when I catch you.
Right now I'm in content creation mode, which is where I kind of put my head down. I do a lot of writing and analysis. And then next week will be a content release week. And then I'll probably do the same thing again. Be quiet.
I just wish you'd, when I'm in your chat, you just need to acknowledge me a little bit more.
Nick's very sensitive.
Yeah, he's a proper,
I need that
validation.
Validation from having famous people acknowledge me there.
Like, oh, hi, Nick.
Yeah.
Basically.
Like when I immediately said hi, Destin, when you stopped by when I'm playing Halo. So,
super chat from Hugh.
I'll work on it.
Could Tencent be impacted after TikTok? Opinions?
No.
Why would Tencent?
I'm sorry.
Be
I don't mean to laugh
TikTok?
at the question. Tencent's like this massive company. They're fine.
Yeah.
But why would they be impacted by TikTok? Is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
TikTok's owned by ByteDance, isn't it?
Who's ByteDance owned by?
ByteDance. Oh, that's a good question. Who owns ByteDance? Do they own themselves? Maybe that's why he's asking.
If you're in the chat,
General Atlantic
why...
and Susquehanna International Group.
Yeah. Okay. So Tencent's going to be okay because they do not own TikTok.
Yeah, I'm sure Tencent will be totally fine.
Tencent backs Grinding Gear Games, so it's like one of the biggest games on the planet right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tencent prints more money than probably PlayStation, Nintendo, and Sony combined most quarters.
Yeah, Tencent and NetEase have been popping off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Although didn't I see
now
that Genshin Impact got a fine from the
It's
FTC?
20 million. They'll make that in a couple days.
I know.
Yeah,
but
20 million is a joke.
Nothing.
They got a slap on the wrist.
The
Right?
FTC. Well, no, it's the hardest the FTC can normally hit because everything's been weakened so much they can't do EU style fines.
Oh, okay.
That's a bigger fine than what Epic copped for all their stuff with kids. I don't think Epic's fine was 20 million. Was it?
The way you worded that, I was like, what do you mean there's stuff with kids?
No, like there was some parental control or some sort of stuff where like child accounts could, I don't know, there was something going on.
Yeah.
Something like that to do with microtransactions with child accounts. And they got in big trouble for it, Epic, around Fortnite. But I mean, NetEase now that NetEase has their own Fortnite in Marvel Rivals, and God, like the crossover potential is endless. Like now, already they've just announced there's going to be like a Captain America Brave New World skin for Captain America when the movie comes out in Marvel Rivals.
Red Hulk.
So now, every time a Marvel movie comes out, hey, quick, play during this period of the movie and get this skin. Oh my God, it's going to be endless.
It's get a ticket. Opening weekend tickets get you a Red Hulk skin.
Yeah, ticket. But there's so much potential for that stuff.
If they would add Cyclops the other day, I'm like, oh, I think Cyclops would be a really cool character. And then the leak is that Cyclops is next. So
they've leaked like there's 30 people in leaks. They've because it's one of the news stories is every 6 weeks they've got a new character. That's their plan. They're just gonna say fudge it to balance. But yeah, there's a lot.
Professor X.
It's like
no joke.
That's it.
I think Professor X could work.
Yeah, he can be a technician in the
really
back.
Interesting character.
He'd be a support character, wouldn't he?
His ult could be Onslaught.
Yeah.
Well, if him and
be a support.
If his team up could be with Magneto and turns Magneto into like super Onslaught powerful mode.
Wasn't Onslaught like him, Xavier, and Magneto? So that's like the squad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Yeah, because those team up mechanics when they're playing, you got the two people on the same team. They would definitely team up.
Is that what Onslaught was?
It was Magneto and Professor X's brain inside of Magneto, I think, or something like that. They got fused.
Is that what Onslaught was? I always wondered because every time I'd play Marvel superheroes,
his son died and he had like PTSD and melded with Magneto or something.
They kind of hinted at it in the X-Men 97 cartoon when Xavier went in at the very end and was in his mind. That's kind of like what happened there in the comics, I think. Not exactly, but
I know that because I always wondered playing Marvel. Was it not Marvel versus Capcom or was it Marvel superheroes? One of those two. I always wondered who Onslaught was. I had no idea who that was.
Professor X is a leak. Colossus. If they do Colossus, they have to do Juggernaut.
Yeah.
Because
they'll do everything. Why wouldn't they?
They'll have 80 characters after 3 years.
Yeah, why
Jing.
not?
I don't even know who that is. Locus.
Yeah.
Trapster?
Well, they've got Squirrel Girl, so it makes sense that they just put in
Who's
just about anything.
Jing?
Don't know.
An insect-based
idea.
mutant. Whatever.
They've got a lot of ones that I think they want to fit to archetypes from like
Whatever.
Overwatch and stuff where characters work.
Cyclops is cool though. Cyclops is a cool one.
Cyclops would be cool.
And John
I gotta
just-
play that
just
game. I
fucking
I
nerds.
played it for like Summer Games Fest and I never touched it. Sorry
It's
to
very
cross
fun.
talk.
Did you play the Splatoon mode they had?
He said he hasn't played
No,
it.
no.
Jeff the
at-
Shark?
I played it at Summer Games Fest, and
Oh, okay.
unfortunately, they played on TVs that had True Motion on. There were a bunch of like little technical
Oh,
things that made the experience not
Damn it,
ideal.
Jeff.
And yeah, I was just like, hey, like maybe
At least John didn't give you COVID.
I'll
Yeah,
just play
that's
the
true.
Bill.
I did kill everybody else.
it's a fun game. It's a fun
Mhm.
game.
I found it like
For nothing
it
but
just
good
feels
things.
like you're doing nothing. Like when you're firing, like there's no impact or anything.
I
It's
know.
just- it's
I
not
feel
for
that
me.
too. I feel
like,
that too.
I watched people playing, and I was like, "This looks really like everything looks really unimpactful." And then I tried it, and I was like,
Yes.
"Yes, it is." And it's holds, and I don't give a crap about Marvel anyway, so it holds zero interest for me whatsoever. But yeah,
No, you're actually
People gotta
right.
have fun.
It feels the same way to me. I don't feel like I'm hitting people when I hit them.
yeah,
I totally agree.
it's a bit weak. I don't know.
It's no Fortnite.
Anyway, I'm trying to think what else we want to dive into. Really,
Hold on. Super chat
Okay,
from
you do that then.
from Grand Benefactor Assassin. Special Nick, forever Narcissus, never Adonis. Mate, I'm both. You know I'm both.
You missed a joke there. You could have said shape shell.
Shape shell. What do you mean? I had someone respond to Destin and I. So Destin was dustbin lingerie. That was Destin's.
I
It was
haven't
dustbin
heard
lingerie.
that terrible joke since like high school. So they're bringing me up like high school.
Wow, they know
jokes
you?
from the 90s. Wow.
No, yeah. So I put out the tweet about Destin being on, and someone replied going, "Dustbin lingerie and sheep shit Nick."
Wow.
That's
You,
what I
did you
copped
see
sheep
your
shit.
name on the Gaming's Leak and Ruber 2025 Google form for voting for people's tiers? They misspelled your
what?
name. You were just Special, SPESHAL. Nick. Didn't even spell your name right.
I'm used to it by now. I
But
know.
unlike Colt
Destin
and
and
some
Greg
others,
Miller were the two that like. Destin and Greg Miller were the two that like butchered it horribly when they first saw it.
Oh, Special Nick?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea what the heck it was.
Yeah, yeah. Like you and Greg Miller absolutely
Sheesh,
butchered
Paul.
it the first time you said it.
It's okay. It's okay. It's
That's
a silly
fine.
name.
I'm used to it. I'm Greek. I'm used to my name
used to be a
being
worse name.
Let's talk. Seeing as we're with the Xbox Era podcast, Destin, the Dev Direct is next week.
Yeah.
You are speaking to Phil Spencer the day after on Safe State Plus.
Yeah, good on you.
We've got South of Midnight. We're not going to talk about any of the leaks, folks, by the way. All right. Even
There
if
were leaks?
they're unconfirmed, we're not going to talk about that. We're just going to talk about the three things we know, right? And then we'll theorize maybe a little bit on the fourth. But South of Midnight,
I'm not allowed.
Doom, The Dark Ages, and Clair Obscure Expedition 33. Are you excited for every single one of these games?
Doom.
So you know, how are you feeling about them?
Doom. Top pick.
Doom.
Most excited about Doom the Dark Ages. I really love the little tease they got. Heard good things out of QuakeCon. I can't wait to see what they've been cooking. Doom is by far the game I am most hyped for from Microsoft. I mean, like, I did the 2 Avowed previews for IGN. And the thing about Avowed is I was in the contrarian camp with the visuals and being like, I don't really like the design they went with. But then I played it and I'm like, it's pretty fun. It's like I had a really, really good time with it. I like how the abilities work together and everything. I like the storytelling. I like the fact that it could be an evil masochist. So the most immediate one is Avowed. I don't think that's not anything at the thing though. So that's just a little aside. Yeah. Doom the Dark Age is easily the one I'm most excited about.
yeah, we never got to play Avowed, so we're not angry at all.
I was so freaking bitter about that. Like, I'm like, come on, Microsoft. What's going on, lads? Come on. It was an at-home, thing. Like, what are you leaving us out for? And I don't know what happened there. But yeah, I don't think any of us have tried Avowed. I don't think I even tried it at a stage show.
No,
did you try it at
we did
Gamescom?
not
I don't
get
think it was there.
No, it was there, not for us.
Oh, okay. Not for us.
Yeah.
See, we small still.
Yeah.
We small. You big.
If I had to pick next, I think it would be Clear Obscure.
Mm-hmm.
Ben
There's a lot
Starr.
of love for that out there.
Ben Starr, I'm sold.
Look, for me, South of Midnight, man, God, that game just continues to look so good.
That's definitely my most.
There's no bad
anticipated
choice to
moment.
make.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. I'm not even saying
Mm.
anything negative about the other ones. I'm actually
No.
pretty excited about all of them.
Mhm.
But like, if I had to tier Destin's favorites, it's probably Doom, Clair Obscure, just because the turn-based combat, and I'm really excited about South of Midnight too. You know what really did it for me with South of Midnight? The documentary about how they're going into the mythos and the stories that have been told in the past, and I'm like, oh, I love that. I love that. That's the angle they're going with. And
I'm in the American South, and all we have are two-toed alligators everywhere.
Yeah.
And gigantic talking catfish.
Yeah, I think it looks great, and I love seeing the variety from Microsoft as well in terms of art style, genre. Like it is,
they've got scope differences, and I think that's one of their main differences from PlayStation. Is PlayStation had to jump back into something like Astrobot after everything just kept getting bigger and bigger. It's like Astrobot didn't sell 1 billion, but it didn't have to because it wasn't $300 million to make. It was a small team, really good at what they were doing, and Microsoft is happy to have that. I always go back to it was like it's a financial podcast that Matt Booty was on. He talked about their 3 pillars. He was like, we've got our constant money makers, we've got our Game Pass fillers, and we've got our art. And Hellblade 2 is in the art. So even like Hellblade 2 didn't have to make $2 quadrillion. They weren't expecting that. And that game was all about properly scoping something to look huge and expensive without being that way, as it told a really good story.
I think Hellblade 2 is marketing, because when I looked at their financials and I saw that they were in the green with no games for several years. Why? Because they are the only motion capture studio anywhere in that area.
Yeah.
So everybody licensed out their studio to do their mocap. And now they have this phenomenal advertisement. Like, look what you can do if you use their studio with Hellblade 2. So like, regardless of what you thought about Hellblade 2, I think that studio is going to be okay. And they're one of my favorite studios. Just like, I think, was it Odyssey to the West?
Yeah,
Enslaved.
Odyssey.
I loved
to the
that
West.
game.
I adored that game, and that was the one that really put them on the map for me.
Haven't played it yet.
You should absolutely play it.
It's really
backwards compatible,
and it's still, honestly, it still holds up. I think it's still great.
Yeah, it's not perfect, but I really, really like that game, and I recommend it to anybody. And then, of course, the original Hellblade. Hellblade 2, I didn't like nearly as much as the first one, but I don't think that matters. I think it mattered enough to enough people, and I think it was beautiful enough that it is a great tool for them to utilize to attract people to their studio and using their studio space. So I think they're going to be A-okay.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking.
I liked Heavenly Sword on PS3.
Oh, me
too.
Yep, another great game.
That's a blast from the past. That was like
even
a
DMC.
title, wasn't it?
DMC was all right.
Yeah, I played that game for IGN. I did the guide and I beat it. I think on the hard difficulty. I don't remember. Don't quote me on that. But I did pretty well at that game and really liked it too.
Yep.
I can't think of a game. I guess Hellblade 2 would be the one game that they put out that I didn't like. I liked the least. I wouldn't say it was. Yeah, I was more
John's ready to
Hellblade
attack.
No, I look.
I'm
it's
kidding.
all an opinion. They're like arseholes. We've all got one.
Ow. How presumptive of you.
I loved Hellblade 2 a lot. I thought for what it was, I think the biggest thing that it struggled with, because we just did our Game of the Year list, funny enough, and I said in the video that lots of folks, I think, when they acquired Ninja Theory and they announced Hellblade 2, the general consensus was, right up until Ninja Theory said, no, we're just making the first game again, but much bigger and better and and awesomer. That everyone was like, this is going to be Xbox's God of War. And I can't help but feel when I read other consensus that bled through that expectation. And I actually got a DM from an industry figure of note at review time, and they were like, hey, I feel like some people didn't get this and didn't try to. I really appreciate your review, and I was like, cool. But then you go and I did a round table with VGC, and people were like, I didn't like this as much as the first one. The story felt less personal. But for me, I thought the story was broader. It maybe not have been as deep, but broader and more exciting than the first. And I definitely thought it was the pinnacle of the genre in terms of what Hellblade actually is. But yeah, I agree with you on Ninja Theory. I think they're an awesome studio. I can't wait to see what they make next, to be honest.
Well, I mean, I can give them props for the visuals. I think visually it was great. I think it was a wonderful game. But I think from purely a gameplay perspective, it wasn't for me.
Yeah, it's very similar to the first two. I think it just removed some stuff more than anything else. That really bugged people.
Yeah,
they removed moves.
The story also, I don't really know. I appreciated her struggle in the first one and the story about her relationships, and I won't spoil it. I go play the first one. I recommend playing the first one with a guide because I found the puzzles a little tedious.
Yeah,
up to you though. But that made me go through it. I played through it twice because I liked it that much. I rarely do that. Well, play through a game, then play through it again. But it's short enough that you can do that.
Yeah.
I think the story is that good that I really want to do it again and take time taking photos and stuff. So for that one to have that much of an impact on me, and for me to swing totally the other way for the second was surprising. But
yeah, it's
there's
interesting.
good things in the second. It's not like trash. But
no, if you do play the second though, it actually does give you a different aspect to the story. I don't know if you've tried it
you
or
can
not.
do the second perspective.
Yeah, you do the other characters, including the Furies, I think, as well. But that means like 3 or 4 playthroughs. So maybe people aren't really that into Hellblade 2. But
no.
But what do we think the fourth mystery game is?
I was about to say, I was going to ask you three because I know what the mystery game is.
So do I, so I can't really talk about it either.
So does the entire internet that's been saying it all
The
week.
internet knows
Does
about it, so we
Destin
can't
know?
really...
Destin, do you know what the fourth game is?
I have no idea.
Okay, so what do you think the fourth game is then?
I have no idea. I know it's not third party, like that was confirmed, so it's something that they own. I mean, I'll just throw something out there that I've been hoping
think they
for,
actually
like a
confirmed
Fallout
anything.
remake, like a Fallout 1 remake is ideally what I would want. But the rumors forever were a Fallout 3 remake, so that's what I would like to see. But I don't know
all
what the
Aaron
rumors
Greenberg
were.
said. Aaron Greenberg just said that it's an unannounced game. That's
brand
all he
new
said.
and unannounced. So in my book, I take away remakes like Oblivion. That's rumored.
Well, that would be brand new. Final Fantasy VII remake isn't brand new.
Yeah. Okay, remaster maybe. I don't know. Yeah, maybe you're right. A remake would be
So
brand new.
Fallout 1 remake. Get that logo out of here. Yeah. But Fallout 1 remake would be good. That's my hot take.
Fallout 1 remake. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, unfortunately, I know the game, so I'm not going to
What's the
speculate on it
rumor?
'cause it
Like,
would look silly.
did Jez tweet it 14 times and I missed it?
Everyone,
No,
you
Jez-
go look at Mr. Boom Double Barrel Gaming's thing. They talked right about it.
What Jez on Windows Central said was, it was, I think Jez said a new entry in a classic Japanese
Franchise.
franchise or something like that.
Okay, I remember now. Yeah, I joked that it's Lost Odyssey.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
some Lost
yes,
Odyssey
I
love
do
in the
remember
chat.
seeing that. I do see.
I don't like Lost
I
Odyssey.
remember seeing that.
I tried it. I've tried playing it 5 times. I can't get into it. I
I
apologize.
never
get to
played
the
it.
city, and then I kind of like I love the intro. I played through the intro like 30 times, but then like after you go through the city, I just kind of stop. I think there's a big exposition, like it just dumps dialogue on you for too long, and there's no action, and I think that's where people fall off usually.
Does it still hold up visually? Because it looks
Yeah,
gorgeous
nice.
every time I see
Yeah.
screenshots of it.
Still think it looks pretty good.
I played Blue Dragon. I didn't play Lost Odyssey. I played Blue Dragon. I enjoyed
It's
Blue
not a-
Dragon.
It's not a lot of people hoping for that. Also,
That's
yeah, I
a-
said
Blue
something
Dragon's
like,
a good one.
"Where are the 7 other of you out there waiting for or hoping that this is Lost Odyssey?"
Desperately crossing their fingers.
Yeah,
Um,
got 61,000 views, so apparently people want Lost Odyssey.
yeah, I see a lot of people talk about it. And remember, Lost Odyssey, I think it's still free. You could just attach it to your account if you go to the Xbox store, I think, or am I mistaken?
I think,
Or was
I
that
think
a
you're
limited
mistaken.
time thing? Maybe it was just for a limited time they gave it away for free. I know the Crackdowns are free, 1 and 2. and there's a couple of other games that are just randomly free forever for 360, but maybe Lost Odyssey was just a limited time free because I grabbed it when it was free. But I still need to play it, as I do a lot of 360 games that I never played, like Splinter Cell Blacklist and oh my god, what were the other ones? But then I haven't even finished Mass Effect 1 yet. I started it on 360.
Mass
and never
Effect is
finished it.
not your type of series.
Yeah,
I started it. I was enjoying what I played of it. I mean, the Mako is a little bit
Oh,
unwieldy.
it's a lot better
but-
in Legendary Edition if you're playing that.
Is it?
I have Lost Odyssey on disc, so I'm not.
Yeah, they
do you
redid the
really?
Mako controls. It's
wow.
fine.
Yeah, that's
The Mako controls were never an issue for me the way they were for other people, but they added like a boost and stuff. Like it's nice.
Yeah.
I got to reveal that with Mac Walters, I think was the name at Bungie. He was who was the lead writer? It was Mac Walters, right? I'll look Google it really quick.
I think so. The name rings a bell.
That next Mass
Not
Effect
Bungie,
game
BioWare.
is going to be the kick down drag out who gets to review it between myself and John because we're both enormous Mass Effect fans. It's one of my
Yeah,
top
Mass
series
Effect,
ever.
I think is probably one of the finest. I'm not including 4.
Andromeda plays better than
Andromeda.
all 3 of them.
I know,
It just has
it
worse
probably
story.
plays better, but Mass Effect 3 as a trilogy is probably the finest video game trilogy ever for me.
You
ever.
really see the seams on it now if you go back. You see how tiny it actually is, but how
Should
good they
I
were at hiding
review the
that.
next Mass Effect?
No,
so
eat
it's
shit.
a truly neutral
You're not neutral.
review, not tainted
Objective-
by potential
objective
bias
review.
of the franchise.
I hope 5 is good. I really did not like Andromeda. I can't even remember what happened in Andromeda. Like I remember the basic
Andromeda's
story.
mini. It's a mini Mass Effect trilogy kind of retelling because they threw it together so late.
Yeah, I'm really disappointed with the story in Andromeda. Like,
Yep.
Long story short, you're like an offshoot. You're jettisoned into space. Your dad dies, and then the bad guy who killed your dad tries to do something bad that would kill everybody.
you go
then
to a
you
new
stop-
galaxy.
You stop the bad guy.
There's a new galaxy, but there's literally one alien species, and you find out that the other alien species is just still that one alien species, a little changed. It's like the whole Mass Effect
Yeah.
thing was having all these species, and then you go to the Andromeda system and you meet one. It's like, what the fuck?
Wait, didn't Amazon picked up Mass Effect for a series, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's gonna be incredibly expensive if it's good.
I hope they pull it off, man.
Well, they
I
could
hope
do it.
Pull it off.
Animated.
I
That'd
don't
be
think they
wonderful.
said animated. I think
Fantastic.
they said live action.
Hmm.
I know.
Full on.
I don't
Gears
know. I
is doing
like
both.
the Flash CW show kind of proved that you can, on a budget, make a pretty compelling show. Those graphics usually don't hold up, but I like look at what they've done with The Boys.
Go back to Smallville.
Yeah.
Yeah, Smallville's pretty bad, but even
But
then,
I feel like a
for-
lot of
for
that
the
comes down to.
time-
I was just gonna say, I feel like a lot of that comes down to like the talent you hire. Like if you find the right people, like Neil Blomkamp started as like a CG guy, and that's why District 9 looks so high budget. But that was a $30 million
Like
movie. because
Gareth
Neil
Edwards.
Blomkamp's a
The people
What?
who did special effects and then go into directing are able to make things that look infinitely better for way cheaper because they know what they need to do to give the
Yeah.
effect studios time.
But
I
what I'm
recently-
saying is, Neil Blomkamp was a very talented CG artist, and look at what he did with District 9. Like, it looks incredible, and that was a
Chappie.
$30 million movie.
Yeah, I recently rewatched Fringe, right, which is one of my favorite kind of sci-fi lent shows. It's like X-Files on crack, and that started in 2008. All the CG in it still holds up. Like they did a really good, subtle, clever job and used it in clever ways. But yeah, like I'm curious, and this is a hot topic here on Xbox Era. Destin, what was your opinion of the Halo TV show?
It was bad.
Yeah.
We agree collectively, all of us, every single one of us agrees.
I think it got worse. Like I think
Yeah.
like season 1 was a mess. They kind of did some interesting stuff in season 2, but man, I really just wish I wish it didn't exist. It's probably one of the better Halo things, but like what's it up against? That terrible thing with the actor who played Luke Cage.
Yeah. Night.
oh,
not
God.
Nightfall. What was
Yeah,
it called?
Nightfall.
Oh, yeah,
was-
it is Nightfall. It is Nightfall.
Nightfall
It
was
is Nightfall.
awful.
Oh, it was Nightfall. Okay.
Nightfall's awful. Why can't anybody? Why can they not make a good Halo thing?
I don't
Like,
I
It should
think
be a slam
I
dunk.
like Infinite. I think Infinite's pretty good, but like, what is up with the supplemental media and them not being able to like hit the right note? And meanwhile,
Apparently, the books are good.
the
Apparently,
books are good. I read the first 4 or 5 books. They're
Yeah.
great. Yeah, Fall of
I-
Reach is fantastic.
yeah, we've had this discussion a lot, and
So it's frustrating because who was the writer again? Eric Nyland.
Eric Nyland, yeah,
Yeah.
and he threw that together in 12 weeks, 16 weeks, something insane.
I have
Like
the
that
version
whole
of the
first book.
book where they got the counts on the Spartans wrong because I was keeping track as I was reading, and I'm like, oh, there's this many Spartans left and everything, and then they redid the book later because
Retcon.
they retconned it because there were too many Spartans left at the end of the book.
Wow.
One of the first videos I ever made when I started making videos was this terrible like machinima about like the Gray Team, which they would later, many years later, write a book about because they just kind of disappear in that first novel. The Gray Team goes off on a separate mission,
Yeah.
and Fall of Reach happens, and they're like a really interesting. It's just really interesting that they left that thread dangling, right? And then yeah, I don't know. I'm really bummed because I think the books are phenomenal.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate.
I think the best Halo story that's not been a mainline Halo and not a book has come from Halo Wars. Like
Oh yeah,
Halo Wars 2 in particular, when they
They'll-
introduced the
those
band,
have a good story.
like it was, and I think it was the simple stakes. It wasn't overly complicated. It wasn't the end of the world. It was just good versus bad, and they gave room for a decent amount of storytelling and characterization. But yeah, like
And with
you know,
Halo Wars 1, they actually led off to a spin-off of really good books.
Yeah.
Made by Kelly Gay, who also wrote, I think, one of the best Halo books, the newest one, Epitaph, which somehow very nicely wrapped up Halo 4, 5, and Infinite together, capping
nice.
off the Halo 4 and 5 stories. Like,
I
seriously,
really
if you-
still have to read that. I
yes,
should.
we
think
were
Kelly
supposed to do a
wrote Bacon.
friggin' book spoiler cast club a year ago whenever I friggin' did the review for this thing, and none of you dipshits will read it.
It's finding time to read, man. I love reading, but it's tricky when everything else is jumping around.
Kelly wrote Gray Team, I think.
Yes, yeah, I think she did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
okay.
one thing I'd like to do, just in case Destin gets pulled in the other direction a little bit, because it
You mean
could
the
be
kid?
in my imagination, but I
Well,
may
shut
have
up,
heard
Nick.
some background
We just got a
noise.
big old 50-pound super chat from Jordan Ando.
Whoa.
Worth cutting you off for.
Jordan Andow, holy crap, with a massive 50-pound super chat. Xbox Era wants me to start reviewing things, right? Yeah, right. They won't even let me review things. Too many games this year because they say I don't do work, but then when I say I'll review this, Jesse's like, no, I'm reviewing it. Oh, hey, Destin. Nice to see you here. Can I have some cookies or would you like to be on my podcast? The boys here can vouch for me, I think. I am not a crazy person. Man, you shouldn't have stopped those cookies. Hey, maybe now that you're unemployed, you can start selling cookies again.
Patreon exclusive cookies.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
The cookie business would take a while to start back up because there's a lot of legal loopholes and certifications you need to get, and
Really?
they gotta come to your house and like inspect your kitchen and make sure you're not keeping your ingredients wrong.
Wow.
wow.
I hadn't
Holy
thought about
crap,
that.
I
But
didn't
yeah,
even
of
think of
course.
that.
A person comes to your house if it's like what is it, a class, I think it's a class B. We were a class B because we would ship, and they come to your house and they like inspect your house and stuff,
Wow.
Holy shit.
and you have to have your food handler license. Yeah, I mean, like, it's a food business.
my
You're talking about
God.
food people are gonna
Yeah.
eat. So
Yeah, that's true.
no. And
No cookies.
when I see people joke about messing with somebody's food, I'm like, don't mess with people's food. Never.
Mm-mm.
I've never
No.
thought that was funny. Like,
No, I would punch any
Yeah.
person who was serving me food and joke that they spit in it. But as
Yeah.
far as
My
Jordan
son's
goes,
anaphylactic, so I really don't like mess around with that shit.
as far as
No,
Jordan says,
yeah,
it's
and-
we're not low on people to do reviews. That's the only reason I don't ask. But we've got a lot.
Yeah.
Jordan, they don't let me review anything.
You don't
man.
want to.
And they
Let's-
complain that I don't do
Let's
any
be
work.
clear, Nick. We don't let you review things because if it's a story-based game, which is often what is needing reviewing, right? You just skip the cutscenes, and unfortunately, consumers, the people that want to hear your opinion of the game, would like to understand your aspects of the story, and to just say, don't care, skipped it all. I mean,
Skipped
Justin,
it all.
would you
I just
believe
play the
that-
game.
that Nick thinks, what would you give Alan Wake 2? A 9, a 10? You thought
he
it was
said
brilliant.
10.
9 out of 10.
he's-
Alan Wake 2.
He
Fantastic.
has no
game.
idea what happens. He skipped every cutscene in the game.
Do
No
any
idea.
of us know
Fantastic
what
game.
happened in Alan Wake 2?
Fair point.
Yeah.
Fair point.
I played
Okay.
the New Game Plus thing that gave you the more context. It was good. It was very good.
Fantastic game. Alan Wake 2. Loved it. Loved it.
Now, I'm conscious
Um,
of time for Destin because I know
Well, what
he's
I
a-
wanted to
he's a busy
do,
guy.
just in case Destin needs to
The
dip,
kids were
'cause that-
fighting over something, and I get stressed when the kids are not chill.
So does this guy. He loses his goddamn mind if his kids exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't worry about it. Mine are terrified of me, so it's okay. Now, just in case Destin does need to go suddenly,
Gotta
can
back
we
up
go
real
to a couple of the community questions that are for him directly
Yes,
to him, just in
absolutely, we
case?
can.
Yeah? Is that all right,
Yeah.
Jesse?
Yep. Just let me know which ones.
Okay, we'll start with your brother. This is a little bit tongue-in-cheek, though, but still, it's for Destin. This question is by Jesse Brother. Happy podcast 246, fellow Soul System dwellers. While replaying my personal game of the year, Senwa Starga, I just replayed the Ingun part, aka the lava level, and holy shit, is that part proof that Nick was so wrong, as Hellblade 2 is way much better than Hellblade 1. Also, sorry dude, as good as Heath Ledger and The Dark Knight were, it's my least favorite of Nolan's Batman trilogy, and people only praise it so much because of Ledger's tragic death. Sorry, but they do. And as much as I was looking forward to compounding that sentiment by telling you, you were also wrong about Ted Lasso, because it actually sucks. Gah, it does not. I love it so far. God damn you.
If he's gonna start out saying Hellblade 2 was actually great, also Dark Knight sucks, like you just lost anybody that was gonna have
The Dark Knight as a movie
I don't know
is
what
weak.
you're doing.
Trav.
The Dark Knight as a movie is pretty weak, but it has some amazing performances.
Yes.
I don't
And
know
I
if
don't
I
know
agree
what
with
I don't know what he's talking about. I've always said about The Dark Knight that it is elevated by Ledger's performance. I never said it was a fantastic movie. It's Ledger's performance that elevates it. I think it's an okay movie,
I think it's a great movie.
but Heath Ledger is amazing in it, which elevates the movie. I still prefer Batman Begins of the three, personally. That's my favorite of the three. Dark Knight Rises is genuinely terrible. Dark Knight is pretty good, but Ledger is amazing. But it is not Apple TV's best show. Severance is Yumalaka.
Severance is
I need to give Severance a second chance, because the first time it did not grab me at
The
all.
Missus and I are 5 episodes in and in love. If anyone
It's
says anything in chat, I'll ban you forever. No
It is
spoilers.
I need to
Incredible
give it a
show.
second chance.
I
But
just
yes.
watched the first episode of season 2, and I was like, I am back in. This is great.
Ah, okay.
It's so
But see,
good.
your brother admitted Ted Lasso,
Mhm.
mate. What a show! You can't not like Ted
Don't call me
Lasso.
that.
Like, there's a tipping point with Ted Lasso. Like, normally when something is super positive and sopping with goodness, usually it's fairly cringe. But Ted Lasso has found this way to make being endlessly positive something really watchable and relatable. I don't know how they've done it, but Ted Lasso is just, oh my God.
There's so much more
It's just
question.
incredible.
More question.
Yeah, I know. Speaking of Apple TV, I told Jess I was willing to subscribe to the service myself. He then told me not to bother because he already did, and it's actually shareable. It is. It's really good. Another reason why it beats fucking Netflix and Max right in their greedy asses. My question is for Destin. Now that you're free, how would you score IGN on a scale ranging between 7 and 7?
Oh well, 7 out of 7, I guess.
That's right.
As good as it gets.
7 is good. 7 is good.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Now, where's the other one for Destin?
I love how much that was
Maybe.
not a question.
Yeah.
Most of our
Brother,
community
Apple
questions are
TV
community
stuff.
diatribes.
Yeah. This one is for Destin also. From good old Collingwood. Hey, go Pies. So last year, the XboxEra crew flew out to Germany to attend Gamescom, and the year before, Destin was at Gamescom, where you interviewed Phil Spencer. John, Nick, and Jesse ate well there. Did you also enjoy German cuisine there, such as,
Bean and
Bean and
Stich.
Stitch.
Yeah. Monchuschen and
It's
Sturschelneck.
Binnenstich, Monkuchen, and Streuselschnecke.
Mm.
Hey,
you go.
I
Very
reckon I got
good,
all
Nick.
of those.
He knows
Also,
Greek.
Well, can I answer
Yeah,
that question?
Yeah.
yeah, go.
Pause right there, real quick. I
Yeah.
love German food. German
It's
food
nice,
is
isn't it?
phenomenal.
Oh,
The
so
pork
much
knuckles
better than
especially
England.
Great. There's a really good place near the Rhine where we would go, and as a team we would have it. I love the goulash. It's basically like a stew. The goulash is really, really good. I'm like drooling thinking about it. It's there's a really nice pizza place, like a hole in the wall pizza place where you can get phenomenal pizza. The gelato there is amazing because they're close to Italy, and like pretty good gelato. To be fair, the Italy and the gelato in Italy is the best, but yeah. And then I was getting to the point here. My favorite food in Germany that I'm missing the most actually are the it's like a sandwich and a big piece of pita bread. I can't remember what they're called off the top of my head. Phenomenal though.
A kebab? German doner kebab?
Doner.
Yeah,
Doner.
yeah. Okay. So
okay.
that makes sense. Yeah, German doner kebabs is actually become so popular. It's actually a brand here in the UK. So obviously it's Turkish originally, right? The kebab.
Yeah.
Doner kebab. Yeah.
Doner is my favorite food, I think, in Germany.
Yeah, that's
Really?
fair.
Yeah.
They're very popular.
Great.
Well,
Their food is so good, man. Even their bread, like everything there is really, really good. I think they have different rules about how their food needs to be prepared. Even their kolsch, like kolsch can only be made like a certain distance from a church or something. So you have to
their beer.
in the brewery. Anyway, I'm sorry. I love German food, but yeah.
No, so do we.
Are you going Gamescom again this year? Like, do you know yet? Probably not.
I mean, it's like one flight is like $2,000.
Yeah. We know.
Yeah.
We were really lucky. Our community crowdfunded us to go out there, which was
really?
Yeah, it was
Well,
amazing.
I haven't thought that far ahead.
Yeah, there's something to consider.
Next time you go to Gamescom, Destin, we ate at a place. Now, from the start of the week when we first got to Cologne, I said to all the boys, I'm like, we have to eat at this cafe here. And they're all like, it looks way too expensive. I'm like, yes, it does look expensive, but it also looks incredible. By the end of the week, I'd convinced them to go. It's called Cafe Reichardt. And we had the greatest apple strudel there that you will ever eat in your entire life. It was so amazing.
It was perfection.
Okay.
Perfection.
And it's not on the menu. It's not on the menu, so you can't just order it. Then they said to us, so Pre-Drag's like, can we order anything from inside that's not on the menu? They're like, yeah, sure. And so we're looking inside. We couldn't really see anything. And one of them was like, is there anything else? And they're like, we have an apple strudel. And we're like, everyone put their hands up. All four of us were like, yep, we'll have the apple strudel. And then the apple strudel came out. We all ate it. And we're just like, why is this not on the menu? How are you not telling people this is a thing that they can order and give you money for? Because it's absolutely incredible. It was so good. Oh, my God. Cafe Reichardt. You have to go there.
Reichardt.
It's so good. Next part of the question. Also, seeing that you are interviewing Phil Spencer again, I'm really looking forward to it, especially the part where you convince Mr. Spencer to hit that like button, ring that bell to notify you of any future content, and subscribe to the channel. Good old Collingwood. Not to mention that Game Pass is the best value in gaming. That joke's never going to leave you, is it?
I like that joke a lot. that joke, there was a rumor going around that the reason people were saying they like Game Pass is because like they were bought off. And it's like the tweets were like from just random people who write about games saying, man, I really like Game Pass. I'm having a good time checking out all these new games. It's like, you were clearly paid to say that. It's like, what? So I just riffed on that and it kind of blew up.
They're right. We were bought off in savings. All the money we saved, that's how we were bought off to talk about Game Pass.
Thanks,
like
Microsoft.
Thanks, Microsoft.
It was so dumb. Like,
it's great.
If they're gonna pay a bunch of people on Twitter to randomly at night tweet about how they're playing some random Game Pass game, and they think it's a good, like, it's just so silly.
Yeah,
it is.
It's interesting. Like, I hope you do get to go, because I remember seeing you the first time I went out to Gamescom. You were
I went like
mic in
13
hand.
times. I went many times. Yeah.
Yeah. and I was like, "Oh, there's Destin," but you were live on air, so I kind of like just sauntered on by. But like we were lucky because not only were we out in Gamescom, and bearing in mind this team, we've been working together nearly 6 years, and we'd never met ever.
Oh wow.
Like in real life. So the community were like, go out there, and then we got to surprise the community because we done our Kickstarter for Console Wars, the card game. Which I'm pleased to say is actually in production in China. We did mention it on headlines earlier this week.
That's great.
It's being printed right now. There's a cool little video that the factory guys shared. But that's coming out to backers in March. And then in April, we're going to launch it on Amazon and you'll be able to buy it. Can I send you one, Destin? Can we send you a copy of... Do you play card games at home? Do you play any board games?
The
Not
kids
really.
will probably just ruin it, but
they're young though, right? You got
yeah,
young
2 and
kids.
4.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. Well,
yeah,
if you ever
we're
have a
doing
board game
games
night,
and stuff right now.
I'll send one your
Yeah.
way. But yeah, like we were very, very, very grateful to our community for that.
That's so
like,
cool.
It was changing. Like the guys got to come here to the UK. We did a podcast live from my lounge, which was really fun. If somewhat unorganized. And it was just a really great time. So we're hoping we all get to go again this year, but I have a sneaking suspicion it might be a few less of us because everything's so bloody busy.
And expensive.
And expensive. Yeah, it was very, very well, only because Nick insisted on upgrading to business class for himself.
I paid for my own business
That's
class
what
upgrade.
It was expensive.
Just straight up, Nick is not going. We can't afford it. We just have to admit it.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yes,
is
I paid for
Nick
my
needs to
own
fix his
upgrade.
house.
That wasn't company money. That was
I
my
know.
own money.
It was a lot of money.
It was a lot of money. Couple more super chats. Jordan Andow. I'm basically John number 2 as our indie review show. So if you do need anyone when things get busy, let me know. Destin, have you given us a BAM yet? Oh yeah, the BAM.
Oh, bam!
Yeah,
nice.
we forgot about the BAM. I haven't heard the BAM for ages.
Should have
I got here late. Oh, Nick is right about Ted Lasso. Of course, I'm right about Ted Lasso.
I was watching
Also,
the
Jordan
unlocked
Andow.
clip and somebody's like, "I missed the BAM."
Yeah, the BAM. I forgot about the BAM. Destin needs me in his community, right, lads? And laughing emoji. Yeah,
Destin-
Come on over,
Destin-
Jordan.
He drops
Yeah,
a lot of
that's right.
super chats. You'll see him pop up. He's a lovely boy.
Yes.
Yeah, I
So-
think that's
No, there was Hugh.
Any other news? We sort of went through everything, didn't we?
kind of
It was a
haphazard.
big week, but also there's not a lot to add to a 2-minute teaser.
Yeah.
you know.
No.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh,
And we
all
sort
the
of-
leaks were true. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. That's the thing. Everything got leaked beforehand, which would
Yeah.
lead us to believe that those specs are probably true too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's it, pretty much.
That's all the news. All the news.
So does
There
that
is
mean
a
it's time? What?
there is a comment from Didact Bro. It's not really a question, but he just says, "Hi, gents and BAM. Cool to see Destin. I still remember your amazing coverage of the FTC hearings on ABK. Great stuff."
That is
Actually-
when the channel really blew up.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
think, like, nobody was really doing much with the FTC content. And
Well, Jesse was.
well, maybe you guys were, but it felt like it just wasn't getting the attention it deserved. And I'm like, how come nobody's covering this like in depth? Like
It was hard to
seriously.
get into the court every day because they had the 1,000
No,
person
not even
limit.
that part of it. Even
but
before
yeah.
that, when the
Mhm.
Brazil documents came out,
Mhm.
like it
Mhm.
kind of got hand waved away, like, oh, whatever, And I'm like, there's so much information in here about how the industry works and like what goes on behind the scenes and what the lawyers are saying about the other companies. And Jim Ryan's flying places, like trying to get this deal blocked and saying all of these things about Microsoft that are basically not true. So it was super interesting to me. And I really appreciated the community coming out, and the channel just exploded because I don't know. The way I tried to present the info is like, I would read it, I would interpret it, and then I would give you the 8-minute version of like a 300-page doc of like what you needed to see in it. Props to you guys for covering it because a lot of people didn't. Was this the FTC trial?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was
Jesse
during-
like live streaming
So you
the trial
couldn't
every day.
you could not live
Yeah.
stream the audio. They said they'd stop post. So I actually rigged up what you see in the text next to me is a live transcript because a live transcript is okay.
Yeah.
So I found a text to speech thing got it into OBS, and so it would just read everything, and I would talk to people about it while it was
It was very smart.
going through.
Mm.
Those got like 50,000 views in a week. Those are pretty well.
Yeah, I would just watch it, but I figured out how to do that. I'd be like, honey, I need you to go hit record on my OBS so I could come home and have everything captured. Yeah, so that was a very interesting time. By the time the FTC trial came around, though, people were actually paying attention. But I had covered it for like a year leading up to that, I want to say, because I think it started with Brazil. It really started with Brazil documents coming out, and maybe a little even before that. But kudos to you guys for, doing your due diligence. And
I know the GameSpot people knew it because of Phil calling them fanboys. They weren't happy.
I don't think that was Phil. I think that was Matt Booty.
Oh, Booty then.
I think that was a Booty email saying like "goddamn GameSpot fanboy reviewers" or something like that. But
Now,
allegedly, just in case I'm
it's literally in the email.
Now, before we get to what year, my dear, there's a couple of super chats that might garner just a touch of discussion, and I don't want to miss them either. So, Cody Bishop, I'm gifting my friend a Steam Deck OLED. Hello, Cody. What about me? Should I set him up with a family account to share my games? He doesn't have much money to buy them himself. Well, yeah, why not? If you're not sharing with anyone else, why not?
Is this a community question? I need to get it showing if it was.
No, it's not. It's a super chat.
By the way, it was Phil Spencer. I was right.
Oh, okay.
Bitch.
Family share if you're not family sharing with anyone else, but also gift me the Steam Deck OLED. I don't have one.
How did I miss the thing from Cody Bishop? I don't see it anywhere.
I had to return mine, so it's gone.
Oh, really? Why?
It's not mine. It's IGN's. Goes back to IGN.
I never used it.
Yeah, that's why you bought the PS1.
That's why I had like nothing on my set for a while.
Wow.
Destin, I can give you an email if you want to use it for coverage. That's why they sent me this. I use it for coverage. They just sent it to me from Valve. They're very nice.
Hey, speaking of your set, I can notice it in the background because I have one of those. I see you've got a Minecraft 1S. I have one of those too. How cool do they look? They're such a cool looking console.
It is a nice looking console.
Like one of the best they've ever done.
I forgot that I had anything even on that TV. Like none of those are actually plugged in. I just put them there. It's like storage, but
so nice. The 1S was a great thing for limited editions.
Oh yeah,
canvas.
Oh yeah,
it was a pretty console.
And so was the 1X. That Gears 5 1X was, oh boy, that thing was beautiful.
Destin, can I ask you a question? You know, we did the Xbox 20 years of Xbox book. Did you see we did that?
That was you guys. That's cool.
That was us. Yeah. It's on
right
Phil's
there.
shelf, which is nice.
Right there.
We're thinking about doing one for the 360.
Oh,
if we
that would
wanted
be
to,
cool.
and we reached out to you, would you be willing to pen some stuff for it? It's a community thing.
Maybe.
Like we can't afford you, but like would you be willing to participate as a community figure in some capacity?
Write a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Like if you've got a favorite game series, we can discuss it. Yeah. Like if you wanted to discuss the impact of that, like we're still deciding if we're going to do it because we've got so much cooking this year. But we think that the community would really love it, right? So we're just figuring it out right now.
Cliffy B's on board.
Yeah. We got Cliffy B.
Ryan, didn't you ask him?
Yeah, I did mention it to Ryan.
Yeah, I think we asked Ryan, and Ryan said he'd probably be happy to do something too.
So yeah, if you're up for it, Destin, that would be super cool. So
I would love to. That'd be great.
Okay. Now Destin, I think, has to go pretty much right now. Last super chat is Will Allers. What's going on with Avowed?
Absolutely nothing.
Do you know what this is about?
Somebody saw some Steam DB changes.
Yeah,
and they were freaking out.
Yeah,
and they're probably just getting ready for launch.
Yep,
because today they tweeted they're a month away from launch.
In response to this,
I know,
they just tweeted that it's coming out.
That's what's so weird about it, though, because when I saw this, I woke up to this. So I messaged someone that I know that does that Steam backend stuff and blah 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 blah, and I asked them, and they said normally that doesn't mean it's necessarily the case for Avowed, but normally you don't do that sort of thing on Steam if you're not planning on delaying. a game.
Well, Will says that
normally.
he heard from Colt Eastwood that it's getting delayed, so it's coming out on time.
Yeah,
It's as good a guarantee as you can get.
It's fine. This got picked up and got traction because Grums was like, it's delayed, and everyone's just leapt on it. It's a month out. It's not.
But they tweeted it's coming out.
Yeah,
Why
it's
would they?
1 month? It'll be fine.
Why would the rumor
Yeah, I
start
know.
and then they're just like, no, it's coming out? Like they would
They've
have
cut
stopped
the rumors
the
legs off.
marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
It doesn't. To me, they're just doing stuff to get ready for launch because, yeah,
It's just
I would be
silly
very
rumors.
surprised they delayed that game.
Yeah, it's not going to be delayed.
I didn't think it would be, but yeah.
So we
Anyway.
need to let the lovely Destin go
Yes,
and
I think Destin
and
needs to go.
I
look
just feel
after.
bad because the kids are super fussy today, and I need to go back up.
It's
to my
a
wife.
two full hours on a Saturday. I don't think we can ask for much more.
Yeah, that's very, very kind of you, Destin, to see yourself out, my good sir. Please replug away everything Safe State Plus before you depart.
Well, thank you for watching, everybody. If you want to support my independent venture, you can do so at patreon.com/SafeStatePlus. You can, of course, watch all my regular content over on youtube.com/@DestinL. If you want to watch my regular stuff, you can also become a member there and get access to a lot of the same perks you get on Patreon. Thank you, everybody, for watching my content all these
Yes.
years. Thank you to all of my fine co-hosts, not co-hosts, my fine
Best
hosts
friends. Best
having me.
friends.
What's that word? Best friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Most
next
fun
year-
acquaintances.
And Nick too. Yeah. And
No,
as
it's-
Corkenstein just super chatted, like, subscribe, and join Xbox Era and Destin's Patreons.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really appreciate you taking the time out, Destin. I know it's a lot to ask on a Saturday. So thank you ever so much for joining us, and
Thanks
good
heaps,
luck
mate.
out there.
Thank you so
Yes. And this time, respond to my DMs quickly. please.
much. Yeah.
Appreciate it, Destin. We'll see you
Thank
soon.
No worries.
Bye for now.
See ya.
All right. It's the gang. It's the original crew now. Many thanks to Destin. It's so cool
Yeah.
of him to give
Yeah.
time up and hang out with us and chat video games.
I do
always like
think-
hearing his insights.
Yeah, we can get more guests if we pre-record. So it's always
Yes.
super cool when we can get someone live. But I do think this year, as part of talking about Patreon so much, that $6 and above tier, our interviews and stuff, maybe if they start showing up more over there, because we
Well-
can get so many more if they're pre-recorded.
I think there's a very different structure to an
Mm.
actual interview too.
Mhm.
There's a lot of crosstalk tonight and conversational chit chat and banter and silliness. An interview is deep
Interview would
diving
be
into-
led by you. So good interviews are generally either one, maybe two people. So I would happily be there to chime in once in a while as the producer. I can still be on screen if people actually weirdly want that. But it would definitely be you two leading interviews, because it's just
If everyone really wants Ryan McCaffrey, I should be able to get Ryan McCaffrey.
I would love to have Ryan McCaffrey on. Like, I think he's been a part of Xbox discussion for as long as I can remember Xbox. Like, ever since I got into the scene,
Yeah, I know.
there's been a Ryan McCaffrey floating around. So yeah, we should
And
definitely
he
do
and I are the same age, and we have kids the same age, and his
All these
journey
things in
towards
common.
Xbox is a similar path, a lot in common. So yes, I have access to Ryan. So if everyone wants Ryan on, I'll bother him and see if he's interested in jumping on.
But yeah,
And
It's good.
what's SJ? Paris should be next, right?
yeah. Paris next.
yeah, post Deb Direct, he said.
week.
So
So I will
Apparently.
test to Paris about that actually on Monday and just
you a
make sure that
plaster of
he's-
Paris.
Hey,
I mean, who knows? Maybe Paris is busy, and maybe he'll be hosting something, and he won't be able to do the show. I don't know.
You sound
yeah,
desperate.
maybe. Who knows?
Maybe
But we'll see.
he's a very busy man, Paris.
He is.
Unlike Nick,
He is.
who's
hard.
never busy.
It's hard to nail him down.
Yep. Yeah, I think like we've done all the news. We can
We barely talk
do
about
whatever the hell we
PlayStation.
want now.
No, we pretty much talked about all of it.
We
except
talked
for,
about
Adam
the-
Fall.
Yeah,
and the repair stuff.
but we talked about that. Like
Mhm.
like we can
It's
stick
fine.
like it's fine.
It's fine.
Mhm.
What do you want to do?
I
You just
needed
hate
a
our
quicker show
audience.
today anyway.
Wow. Then you should shut up. Mr. Talks a lot.
I barely spoke today. Thank you very much.
Honestly, that's the one downside.
Rand
of,
is here now to make it much longer.
the podcast can now start. You
Rand-
missed Destin,
Rand
Rand.
missed Destin. You missed Destin.
Shocking.
You just had Destin.
Um,
Okay.
I guess
Is he pushing a button?
I guess he can.
Oh, yeah, I need to change the video over, of course. So then I'll press the button, which is going to be right about no.
A boot.
I gotta get the music.
That's right. It's what year, my dear. This is one of the weekly game shows that Nick and I play as we do battle for our beloved patrons in order to possibly, hopefully, maybe win them a video game. We do this because our Patreons supporters.
Dookie
are
Duke never
awesome.
talked to me, so it's on him for not getting one.
Wow. And if you want to win a video game, you just head to patreon.com/XboxEra where you can pledge your support and you'll be in with a chance for us to fight for your honor. This week, Nick is playing for King of Ithaca 12, which is very, very Greek, I think, right? Ithaca is the mystical island of
It's New York.
Odysseus. And I am playing for Psy Skeptic. So we'll see who wins this round of what year, my dear.
Yep.
Right. What's the old theme as I load up my calculator today?
The theme today are games PlayStation did not cancel.
Wow.
Oh yeah, we didn't
Spicy.
talk about that, did we?
No, that's what I was
We
literally
did.
talking about. You barely talked about it during the friggin' news. We talked
Yeah,
about
we kind
it.
of generally talked
But
about the
that's
state of
because
the
bloody-
industry.
Bloody Destin kept friggin' sending us on tangents all the time.
King of tangents. I loved it.
Oh my god. Is there any questions about it? Maybe there'll be questions about it.
Yes,
Yeah,
will.
there is.
There's going to be plenty.
Ah, so that's fine.
Yeah.
So we can talk about it then.
It's going to be a decently long question then because it's covering things we didn't talk about at all. So
Bloody Destin.
yeah, Didac's got one, and among others. But yeah, so so obviously games that Sony Interactive Entertainment or PlayStation Studios throughout the year have published. Starting with a PlayStation 1 title, Jumping Flash for the PlayStation 1.
Shit.
I don't know.
Generally, you've got a 5 to 8 year window on these things.
Yeah.
So it's not my fault if after all this time you have not remembered what any of those are.
Yeah, I whatever.
If I had my friend
Gentlemen.
Real Rydek here, he'd probably know.
Give me your year in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh,
You are both over. It was 1995.
brutal.
Oh, really? That was like a launch game, pretty much.
So
Wow.
I tried to make sure if it was weird in Japan versus America, but that one was just showing 95. So,
Okay.
all right, gentlemen, what year did Ho Hokum release on the PlayStation 4?
Hokum. The name rings a bell, but
Mhm.
Jesus Christ, like
I don't even know.
these are all guesses.
Your
These are, like,
prodigious lack of
pure
knowledge
guesses.
isn't my fault. Gentlemen, give me your years in 3, 2, 1.
No one cares about PlayStation games.
Closer without going over, but ineligible because the actual platform wasn't out that year.
Oh,
John.
fuck yeah.
Jesus
It was out in
Christ.
2013.
Yeah, it was
Silly
20. It
me.
was
So
20,
what was the year?
2014.
Oh, it
Oh.
was off by a bloody year.
Brutal.
My God, John.
I don't know, man. It's
Mm-hmm.
It's actually insane how frequently you do that.
I am who I am.
The Nintendo, Super Nintendo, I don't know, 76. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. The Nintendo 64, 1981.
What a bottle. All right.
Didn't go over a point from the
bottle.
We haven't gotten a goddamn point yet. Gentlemen, what year did Gran Turismo 4 release on the PlayStation 2?
2. I own that game too.
One of the best selling games out there. I don't care if you don't know it.
I actually like Gran Turismo 4. It's probably my favorite one. Shit.
That's why I chose it.
I
remember liking it. Brit says 1982. John, I'm going to let you know. Not right. Gentlemen, give me your year in 3, 2, 1.
I think I'm too early.
What do you got, John? Go left, your right. Nailing it as 2004 is 1. John Sikamika Nico Clark.
Shit. And I was going to say 2004.
Doesn't matter. You didn't actually.
I know, I'm saying, I said, I think I'm early.
Don't care.
I was.
Gentlemen, what year did The Getaway come out on the PlayStation 2?
Fucking hell.
Fucking hell. Bruv.
Don't ask me how, but I actually think I know this one.
All right. Gentlemen, give me your years
Watch John
in
just
3,
guess randomly
2,
correctly.
1. Guessing randomly and getting it correct is 1. John Sikamika Nico Clark.
I fucking told you. I knew it. I've run out such bullshit.
Folks, what year did Days Gone release on PC?
Oh. Oh. Fuck. Was that like post 2020?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thanks, Nick.
Gentlemen, give me your years.
What are you going to say?
1973.
Give me your years in 3, 2, 1. Fuck me. John is now up 9-0.
God, he just fucking guesses random years, man. Fuck, that's bullshit.
It was 1 year after it came out on PS4, I believe. You're also really way off, Nick. It was not 2 years ago. How the hell could you even think that? Gentlemen, what year
Because I thought
did
it was
Tearaway come out on Vita?
Oh, fuck. Fuck. I don't know if Vita came out. When did the Vita come out?
Don't help, Nick.
No, I don't even remember. I've got a Vita, and I don't even remember when the Vita came out.
I have no idea. This is literally as random as you could possibly.
Yeah, and watch it just happen to be fucking correct.
It would be hilarious.
Gentlemen,
It'll just
give me your
happen to be
years
completely
in
correct.
3, 2, 1.
Oh God, I've typed it wrong. I've typed it wrong in panic.
What is your guess?
Okay, my guess is 2012. I typed 2102.
Well,
It's up to you. I don't mind not having
you get
that.
1
That's
point
fine.
because it was 2013.
Okay. I didn't actually mean it released in 2102.
In like
In the
2019 or 20,900 years from now or something.
Oh,
My
dear.
God, Nick, what the fuck, man? I'm embarrassed for you.
He's just pulling random guesses out and getting them. There's no skill to it.
Mm-hmm.
Educated guesses.
Well, you play
Educated.
Nintendo party games, so you don't give a shit about skill either. You like random garbage. Gentlemen, what year
No.
did Lair release on the PlayStation 3?
Fuck.
Keep it snappy. Give me your year in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nick's on the board. 2007.
Hey.
Keeping with the PlayStation 3 and the short names, what year did Mag release on the PlayStation 3? Massive action game.
PlayStation 3.
Gentlemen, give me your years in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Getting 1 point, being 6 down, is Nick because it was 2010.
Nice. Oh, I was 1 year over.
No, you were both 1 off. Gentlemen, what year did Dark Cloud 2 release on the PlayStation 2? Give me your year in 5, 4,
Wait,
3.
wait.
No,
Wait.
it's snappy. 2, 1.
I've done this mostly as a joke, okay? Like,
Yeah, so no one gets a point. It was 2000.
Really? Was it that early for the sequel? No, that can't be right.
I said
Dark Cloud 2, it can't be
I said
right.
Dark Cloud on the PlayStation.
Didn't you say Dark Cloud
you said
2?
Dark Cloud 2.
Oh.
You said Dark Cloud 2.
Oh, well, I meant Dark Cloud PlayStation 2. It was 2000.
Oh, well, that's not fair.
No, well, no, we're going to point
So what
anyways.
was Dark Cloud 2 then?
I have
Google
no
Dark
idea.
Cloud 2 because I want to know now. I'm going to Google it.
Dark Cloud 2. You're not allowed to Google anything. 2002. What did you say?
I said 05.
Yeah, fuck off. All right, gentlemen. What year? And if you get this one, we're on wrong, Nick. Shame. Blasto on the PlayStation 1.
The fuck is Blasto?
Oh, you don't remember? Okay.
I've never heard
It
of
was Phil Hartman. He voiced a. It was really bad. For some reason, I remembered in my head that you liked. Oh no, you liked the other, the Capcom one. I can't remember the name of. The fuck is it? Gentlemen, give me your years in 3, 2, 1. Another point for Nick. It was 98. 10 to 5. He's coming. He's coming.
Coming up.
Sack.
It's coming up.
Gentlemen, what? And boy, it kills me that this game's already had a remaster or a full-on remake. What year did Until Dawn release on the PlayStation 4?
Oh god.
Fuck.
Give me your years in
Shit.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pulling 3 points ahead is one John Sicamick and Nico Clark. It was not a launch game.
I honestly couldn't remember.
Oh, God damn it, I wrote the wrong thing. Get that 4 off of there. Okay, what year did Jason Heavy Rain come out on the
Rain?
PlayStation 3?
Fucking hell. Okay.
Give me your years in 3, 2, 1. Pulling further ahead is one John Sicamechanico Clark, as it was, in fact, 2010. God damn it, man. Feeling bad for you, Nick.
That's it. I've won, haven't I? I've done
Oh,
it.
yeah, no, it's not even, there's no chance in hell. There's 3 left. If Nick gets them all, he can finish 2 points behind. Gentlemen, what year did Twisted Metal 2 come out on the PlayStation 1?
Ooh, I had this.
Who didn't?
Fuck. PlayStation 1.
Give me your years in 5, 4, 3, 2. John?
Oh, God. Sorry.
John?
I typed code wrong again.
Was the PlayStation 1 even out in 94? No.
I don't
It
know.
came out in '94 in Japan, I think.
Okay, yeah, well, I'm not talking about Japan, so no one gets a point. It was 97. Gentlemen, what year did Echo Chrome come out for the PS3 and PSP? One of their cooler things they made.
I own this bloody game.
Yeah. It's really cool.
It is. Echo Chrome's actually a super clever puzzle game.
Yeah. I remember liking it a lot. PS3 for me, not PSP. Give me your years in 3, 2, 1.
Oh, God. I fucked up.
It's 08, so it would be a point for Nick.
There you go, Nick.
Oh, wait. I feel like I bought that way closer to launch. Okay.
All right, and for finally, what year did Journey come out for the PlayStation 4? PS4. PS4. John, 1972. Give me your years in 3, 2, 1.
2024.
One more point for Nick. We end at 16 to 7 as it came out in 2015.
Oh, God. I kept getting 1 year before on so many of them.
I know. There you go. There was name of a game. God, what an ass kicking.
That's such a stupid game. I'm so shit at it.
It's not stupid. You
name a
just have
game.
no.
There's
Yeah.
an element of skill to it. Bloody what year, my dear? He just throws years out and happens to get them.
Feels good. Feels good.
So dumb.
All right.
A lot of community questions.
Yeah, we'll dive into these and probably talk about some
it
more
was
stuff.
looking like there was going to be none. And then all of a sudden, a
Well,
whole
I
bunch just appeared.
I think a lot of people use the forum too because I put it up well before the forum thread went up.
But the form had no questions as of yesterday.
Jeez. Okay.
Because I checked and I was like, oh, there's only going to be like 4 community questions. And then all of a sudden I woke up this morning and there was all these questions everywhere. I'm like, what the hell?
Well, on the form, I've not even looked at the form.
Yeah, there's
Both.
5. There's
Both.
5
Even
on
the forum only
Yeah.
had 4 yesterday. And then all of a
Okay.
sudden I checked overnight and a bunch more appeared. But it's okay because we love our patrons. And that's the most important perk of being
Come on,
a
John.
patron is that you get to ask us questions.
Come on, you grump.
The patrons,
Wow.
look at Destin. Destin, patrons are so important. Destin quit his job
For our patrons.
to be supported by patrons. So that's how important patrons are and why we want as many of them as humanly possible. Because all of you just want to see me. And if you just want to see me more, we need more of you.
3 or
so
4
that I
times
can
as
quit
many.
my job like Destin did.
If we could overnight quadruple our Patreon, we could might possibly be able to bring Nick on.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Lee Layfield on the forum.
Oh, we're not going to talk more about the patrons and how great they are?
Oh,
I
I'm
think if
fine
you've
with
done
it.
it, you know, like
Man, I could talk about the patrons all day and how amazing they are. Could do a whole
Yeah.
podcast about it.
I
Maybe
do
we should
2
make
other
it a
podcasts a
patron
week.
exclusive podcast where we just talk about the patrons and talk about how
like
great
just
they are.
pick one and just talk about how wonderful that one patron
Yeah.
is. Like, oh,
Like Scarecrow121 / Scarcely Relevant, who
God, what a lovely bloke.
got in touch with me during the week and gave us a cool idea for another show that thought I'd be a good host for.
Before we dive into the community questions,
Yeah.
there's a super chat. I like this one.
There is, from Richard Davies. Hi, guys. Any recommendations for less obvious / obscure puzzle platformers? Really into them at the moment. Echo Chrome on PlayStation, if you have a PlayStation.
Or a
Echo
PSP.
Chrome is fantastic.
Man,
yeah, but
where
you
do
can
I
buy it
s-
on PS5 now, Echo Chrome.
Where do I start?
The Gardens Between,
Cocoon,
good game.
Ilo Milo.
That's not obscure. That's not
I'm-
less obvious than obscure. That was
Some
heavily
peop-
marketed and on Game Pass.
Ilo Milo, which is an old. I think it's 360, maybe. Ilo Milo was interesting.
Oh, yeah, the Pedestrian. And the Pedestrian has a cool sort of semi-glitch for like 1,000 achievement points in 5 minutes,
Oh.
which is really cool.
You know what? I have figured out a way where people can stop submitting questions if you want, Nick. I have to unpublish it.
Oh my God, there's
There you go.
another...
Yeah, it was scary. It was the
Scarecrow121 just submitted a question.
It's not. It's not a puzzle platformer, but like if you want puzzles, 12 minutes. Animal Well, which isn't on Game Pass, but you should absolutely pick it up. It's crazy good.
I mean, technically, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown has a shit ton of puzzles.
Yep.
It is amazing.
Nick, if you click in the top right where it says published, you can then choose no longer accept. That's where they moved it to.
Ah, okay. Well, we used to do that. I thought
They
you had
moved.
turned it
No,
off.
they moved it. I didn't know where it was.
Ah, okay.
Neva, which is new. Like, that's great.
It's not really puzzle platformer, is it?
It's got puzzles. Puzzles are part of the combat and the platforming. Yeah, it's all mixes in together in a nice blend. It's very good. God, I could go
Japan's Studio Echo Chrome.
scroll through my games played list and just keep reading off one.
If
If you missed Braid, the anniversary edition is equally still very
if you
good.
like
It's a
guys
game.
crying because people don't like them, you want to support them.
Yeah, timisacreep.com.
Planet Olana.
Yeah, Planet Lana's fantastic.
Yeah.
There's so many. Like it's probably one of my favorite genres of thing. It's not a puzzle platformer, but you should absolutely play it. What Remains
be
of
back.
Edith
Hold on.
Finch. Inside, obviously. Yeah, like I could keep going. Hopefully these help, Richard. So go try some of them if you've never heard any of these.
We had a Jordan
It's one of my
Handout
favourite
super chat we
genres.
mixed.
Little Nightmares 2 is also brilliant. Really, really good. So, hooray for video games. Well, Nick is out of the room. We got a super chat from Jordan Andal that we missed.
It was during
which
the
is-
game show.
Right. It's like, so we should have a new game show. Guess the console release year just for John. It'd also give Nick a chance to actually win, like he probably should. Yeah, I'd be terrible at that. I'd be okay, more or less, for like the last three. Otherwise,
It would be
I
a
don't know.
one-time game because there haven't been that many consoles.
Yeah, there's not enough. There's not enough consoles. Right. Well, Nick is out. You know, I guess we can read Lee Layfield's question, right?
Mhm.
Lee Layfield. Hey guys, with little to no news this week, maybe you'll switch it up and the show will be under 3 hours. You know, we might pull it off. I don't know.
There's a
Depends.
lot of questions.
Looking forward to your takes. I'm excited for the Switch too, but I'll understand if others want to see specs and software, etc. first. Let me spoil the software side. There will be a Mario game. I do think the system will cost $400 plus VAT on its own, and that's okay with me. Take it easy, boys. Can't wait to get my hands on Console Wars, the card game.
I'm not okay with a Nintendo handheld costing $400 because I don't expect it to be very good hardware-wise.
Yeah, as long as it can play Fortnite and Rocket League at 1080 60.
Couldn't give two shits about playing Fortnite or Rocket League at 1080 60.
Totally golden.
Yeah.
Everything else is a bonus. Like, because everyone knows what Nintendo can do with their own hardware. Like,
make boring shit. that
Super
people
Mario
love.
Odyssey looks stunning and it runs at 60, and that's on the bloody potato Switch.
And it's boring.
So I can only imagine what they're going to pull off with this thing. It'll. I still think third parties will struggle a little bit.
I think it's going to have way more third-party support early, and it will die off late
Yes.
again as tech moves past what the Switch can actually handle. Or the Switch.
I think DLSS will help. It will help alleviate some of the pressure.
DLSS frame gen and DLSS super resolution both require more information to be useful. So going from 540 to 1080 looks awful, and going from 38 FPS and trying to push 60 like in Black Myth Wukong feels bad. So I'm really curious how it's used.
I'm just saying it'll help alleviate some of the pressure. I'm not saying it's going to be the panacea that will solve all the fucking problems. I just think it will alleviate some of the pressure on the hardware, because I expect that NVIDIA will have worked closely with Nintendo on maybe some sort of customization to the software. I don't know, but I think it'll do okay. It'll do better than the Switch did.
I will
in
say,
terms of running third-party games.
Expect less and hope for more. I'm just really not expecting much out of the Switch 2.
I can't wait.
You have to. It's not out till June.
I've registered for the experience. Oh, actually, I think there's a community question on that, so I'll shut up.
The next one would be
okay.
Liam for me. I don't know if it's the same for you.
It's not for me, but I'll go to Liam's. So
It's really weird how it's not the same for us.
Okay. Where is it? Shit. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I think I've got the right one. Hi, guys. I was interested to hear the report where only 15%... Is that the right one?
Mm-hmm.
I was interested to hear the report where only 15% of Steam purchases in 2024 were spent on new games, and found this very much aligned with a change in my own purchasing habits. Whereas 10 years ago, every new game that interested me I would get day one, now through a combination of Game Pass and comfort games like Rocket League, this is definitely no longer the case, and I am happy to wait a year or two for these games to be discounted. How do you think the industry combats the need for investors/companies to seek immediate returns on their investments against consumers who may be less inclined to purchase games on day one? Love the show and the variety of voices and opinions each week. Much more interesting than the drivel you see on social media. Hey,
Are there any
both.
questions?
I am also the drivel.
Are there any questions about the PlayStation thing? Because I think it's intrinsically tied to this. Like, that is the main problem where everyone's trying to figure out what the hell do we do? Because
But this is the problem with investors and shareholders and all that horse shit to begin with.
The second
That's the
that
problem.
gaming became such a big industry, and the second that it became the lifeblood of Sony, it became, I've spent 70 billion on this now, so it has to be important, Microsoft. And it's arguably the only reason for Nintendo to exist. Shareholders now sticking their claw in and making bad decisions.
I
and bad
like that
calls and-
Nintendo doesn't give a shit.
I
I
love
like
that
that
too.
Nintendo.
it's not that they don't give a shit, it's that they've kept their costs down enough where they're still able to grow. So if that ever stops, they would be forced to give a shit in similar ways. Not completely the same, but in the same ballpark.
Well, to me, the Wii U is a perfect example of how Nintendo, despite shareholders, Nintendo will still technically do whatever they want to do. Like what happened after the Wii U. The execs were like, we'll take a pay cut. We'll take a pay cut. It's our fault. We fucked up with the Wii U. We'll take a pay cut.
It's also
That's how you do it.
and it's incredibly hard to fire people. You have to show that the company, in Japan, you have to show that the company is in like dire straits
in
if you don't
America.
do it. No, in America you can
Not
just
in
say I don't
America.
like your shoes. But also
in
like,
America, it's like, it's January, so we're just going to sack people.
And what did the Wii U lead to, though? Like, the Wii U led to them taking their two very successful different things and having to smash them together. So if they have similar issues again, they then have to find a pivot.
I don't think they'll need to, though. I personally feel like that this is it now. This is the way forward. Handhelds, because everyone is on the go, because everyone, like, the Switch has caused such a seismic shift in how people perceive handheld gaming now. That's it now. We're not going back. We're never going back to the days of the DS and the PSP where we had our development pipeline split into two platforms. I will forever toot my own horn on the fact that I called it on NeoGAF 10 years ago. I was like, Nintendo's only path forward for success is to merge and go handheld and console in one. I called it 10 years ago. And here we are. Because it made no sense. Their handhelds were exploding constantly. DS was successful. 3DS was hugely successful. Yet here were their consoles selling less and less and less outside the Wii, which was an outlier. Their trajectory, if you were looking at their trajectory from the NES to the Wii U, 12 million units or 10 million units was where they were inevitably going to end up. That was the trajectory they were on. Like, Nintendo had to do something.
You could argue
People
that
just
you're seeing that same trajectory playing out across the rest of the industry to a degree.
To a degree, but I am interested to see where the PS5 ends up. Like, will it... So we know the PS3 didn't hit 100 million. That was their first console to not hit 100 million because the PS4 did. I am interested to see if the PS5 gets there. So we're now... This is year 5. So we're just past the 4-year mark. And the PS5 is at 60. I am curious to see if it's going to hit 100.
Especially with the rumors are AMD's new tape out and stuff is set for 2027 for consoles and stuff like that. So, yeah, it'd be a surprisingly short generation.
Maybe, or shorter than what we've been used to.
But also, it's going to have the same long cross generation, anyways.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Cross-gen is the thing forever now.
Yeah. It'll be like 10 years of cross-gen because the games that don't need the higher hardware, there's no reason to not be on everything.
Those games as a service games have caused cross-gen to effectively be a permanent thing now. Because so many people keep their old consoles just for Fortnite or just for Warzone or just for Rocket League or just for whatever. Like, I still know so many people that are playing Fortnite on PS4s. I mean, they sound like jet engines, I know, because there's a PS4 sitting at my parents' place, and every time you turn that bloody thing on, it's just absurd. I tweeted this, and some people got upset about it. Microsoft does not get enough credit for how dead silent their consoles have been for 15 years. Even the 360 revisions were extremely quiet consoles.
Mm-hmm.
And then Xbox One was dead silent. One X was dead silent. Although 1Xs did tend to get loud later, strangely.
Yeah, mine got a bit loud towards the end of its
It started
usage.
dead silent,
yes,
and then got loud. And the Series X and S, whew, beasts. Okay.
Got a
what
couple
have you
super
got
chats.
as the next... okay. Jordan Andau, back to the Xbox Direct for a moment. Won't be, but if the fourth game is Shenmue 4, it's not. I'd lose my mind, buy Xbox, and make everything exclusive again. Yeah, it's not going to be Shenmue 4. David Brownfield, the PSVR 2 failure would be news if it were Xbox. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't talk about Shu either in his interview with Greg
There was
Miller.
a lot of news.
Yeah, but I also don't want to harp on negative PlayStation stuff.
That's
and then
what
be
everyone
accused
else
of,
does.
Oh,
You see Gaz this week. Gaz was in as Element this week. He was so happy.
That was pretty funny.
Jordan Ando, super chat.
So what have... Jordan Ando, how long do we think Xbox's new strategy takes before people realize it was the right thing and other companies follow? 5 years? 10 years?
It was this
Which
week.
part of the strategy? Which part of the strategy?
I think he's probably referring to the exclusives on other devices, mate.
Oh, no, you won't convince me that was the right move. But the Xbox everywhere, 100% the right move.
Those are almost the same thing.
Now, where's the... No, it's not. Having multiple hardware options is not the same thing as putting your games
Xbox
everywhere.
Anywhere is every hardware option. It's not just their own. or PC.
Yes, and it should not include PlayStation, in my
I
opinion.
know, because you have that mentality.
So which question do you have next?
Crippling debt.
Crippling debt. Crippling debt. Oh, fucking hell, Google.
Google sucks.
So, I was thinking the other day, occasionally, I really enjoy a game that's on Game Pass and want to further support the developers by purchasing the game. Once I do so, am I no longer playing the game via Game Pass and therefore possibly hurting an engagement metric since I am now playing a purchased copy of the game? What's your gents' reckoning? Secondarily, pick 2 each. Dishonored 3, Ori 3, Titanfall 3, Plague Tale 3, Portal 3, Banishes 2, Prey 2, Anthem 2. Oh my god. Let's start with the first part.
No, I don't think they're saying you bought it through Game Pass. I imagine that's just the thing they love the most.
To me, yeah, Xbox would love nothing more than the stuff you do and I sometimes do, which is play it on Game Pass day one, and then when it goes on sale, buy it because you really love it. That's what I do.
And then you're playing a game that's on Game Pass that you bought, and they just see you playing it more, and they're like, yes, we want you playing.
Because you still get the Game Pass triggers, even if you own the game. You still get the little daily rewards for playing on Game Pass. So clearly Microsoft is more than happy for you to buy the game as well.
I have Cody Bishop. It is.
Oh my god, I haven't seen it, but I know
the
of
worst
it.
thing of all time. She's got cornrows.
Yeah, the Roseanne.
She's got her hair dreadlocks.
Yes,
yeah.
Cody Bishop. Have you seen
And
the
with her
Roseanne
white
Barr
rapper
rap video?
dreadlock guy with all the facial tattoos. It is.
And her hair's blonde.
Yeah.
Did she make it blonde?
Yeah.
In that video?
Mm-hmm.
America is a strange place.
Everywhere is a strange place, John. We're just the most influentially strange place.
And now, secondarily, pick 2 each. Dishonored 3, Ori 3. For me, it would be Titanfall 3 and Ori 3.
John, Ori 3 and Portal 3. I bet you if you really thought about it.
No, I'd take Titanfall.
Mm-hmm.
And Ori 3.
I think we'd all be the same then.
Oh, really? You'd be Titanfall 3 as well?
Mm-hmm. Of course, Titanfall 2 is one of my favorite games ever.
Wait, if we can pick 2 each, can't we just pick 2 different ones each and then we'll have 6?
No, it has to be consensus.
Oh.
No, because I really want Ori
Nate,
and
I would
Titanfall
rather
3.
die.
I'd really want Titanfall 3.
The next one would be Grand Benefactor Assassin.
Assassin. So for me, that's third. Okay. Hello to John, Nick, Jesse, and Destin, who is now gone. Holy fuck. Nintendo, you finally did it. The Switch 2 is real. Backwards compatibility is confirmed, and we have Direct in April for some of the games coming with the system. I'm honestly surprised the reveal is getting any pushback online for not being innovative enough. Has that been a thing with Nintendo hardware reveals in the past? What do you guys think? Also, here's a good question that I must know what you think, especially Special Nintendo. If they are real, is Mario Kart 9 the launch title and the new 3D Mario the holiday game, or vice versa? Thanks for all you guys do, and good luck on your journey as a content creator, Destin.
It was the last the last 3 were innovative. You had the Wii, which was all motion control. You had the Wii U, which was the dual screen.
The gamepad.
And then you had the Switch, which was making it portable. So those were the more, This one, just with like a mouse, goes more back to like a GameCube or an N64. Like, it's just iterative in some way.
And I feel like Nintendo will become, now that they're on this hybrid path, I think they will be more iterative going forward. Because, like, and the fact that this is also the first time Nintendo is numbering a console as well, they've never done that before. Like, this is the first time that they are numbering their console.
Mm-hmm. But they're not going to do another Wii U, are they? They're not going to make another mistake.
And that was it was a mistake with the NES to the SNES too. They complained. That's why they went to the N64 to make it new. And it's not, oh, this is the same thing, just a little better. It's like, well, no, there was actually a complete new platform from the Nintendo to the Super Nintendo, but they were so similar in name that it did cost them sales because people didn't realize it was completely new. The very casual people.
I expect that the fact that they've gone to for the first time ever, and it was such an iterative thing, which I don't know why people expected anything else, to be honest. Like, you knew it was just going to be a slightly more powerful Switch. Like, they were never going to do anything else. I think that's it. I personally think we'll go Switch 3, Switch 4. That I think they'll just go, yep, we'll be like PlayStation now. We'll just number them and incrementally improve as mobile technology gets better and better. Now, if I'm wrong, whatever. I just think that personally is their path forward. I don't ever see Nintendo going back to a handheld and a home console again.
No.
Personally.
Nope. I'd agree.
And if you are in a hybrid space, how much realistic innovation can you get? Like, to me, the next thing I could see Nintendo doing with the Switch 3, if we want to innovate, would be like AR. Like, maybe they involve AR somehow. Maybe instead
it's
of
funny
a dock,
you mention. It's funny you mentioned that the AR thing, like with Destin talking about, being able to manipulate using the gyros in the, like, if there is a camera.
No, it's a little optical sensor.
No, like I don't know if there is. Did we see? Correct me if I'm wrong. Is there any kind of camera on the actual Switch, like hidden in the bezel? Like,
no, not that we know of.
I suppose we don't know that either way, right?
Yeah, they've only showed 3D renders and stuff. So who knows? Yes. Like it didn't even seem to say C on the button, like as the leaks have shown.
No, they covered that up. Yeah.
So
and we only know about the optical sensor from the leaks.
Yeah.
So if there is, maybe, but that's where if we take everything at face value, then it's, aside from the optical sensor and the Joy-Cons, there's really nothing else. So I could see a scenario where with a Switch 3, maybe their innovation is like AR, and maybe instead of a dock, it's a wireless signal sender, kind of using the Wii U tech. And all of a sudden we go back to DS, where one screen is the TV and the second screen is the Switch 3. And something like that. That's where their innovation would lie in a hybrid-only future, I think. I think we answered that okay.
Yes, we did.
What have you got next, Jesse?
I DM'd them to you, but it's Omen.
Oh, yeah. Shit, sorry. Omen's just relevant. Okay. Second last. There's some rumors floating around that 343 is in further development. It's further development than we think, and that we might get another Halo announcement this year. Do you guys think there's any truth to that?
No.
No?
Nope.
You don't think we'll get any kind of Halo-related announcement this year?
They don't have to force anything. They're too...
No, I'm just saying.
I mean,
you don't think we'll get a Halo-related announcement?
Halo announcement?
No,
okay, yeah, maybe.
Maybe the remake?
No.
Yeah, like maybe you'll get an announcement. I don't know. Maybe. But I don't think they're like there were people talking like something was going to come out this year, and I'm like, I don't know.
I don't
that
think
was the
will
rumor
come out this year.
From
but
Mr.
announce,
Rebs.
sure.
I could see an
But
announce.
also, like, the rumor was based on a thing that wasn't actually correct. It's like, hey, they got this whole testing thing now, and John's like, they had that when I went there 5 years ago.
Yeah, that was weird. It's like,
okay.
A lot of insider rumors are conjecture based on things they see in here, and they don't know the actual context of. That's why you guys are wrong all the time.
The Halo announcement could be multiplat stuff.
Yeah,
as well.
That counts. Yeah, that's a release.
But
that's a release this year.
That was last year's leak as well of Master Chief Collection to Switch and PlayStation.
I could 100% see the Master Chief Collection as a Switch 2 launch title.
Yeah.
100%.
You know what's funny?
And how good would that be?
If they did everything on Switch 2 but nothing on PlayStation 5, people would be fine with it. It's just PlayStation
Ultimate.
they can't stand.
Ultimate.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe that's Microsoft's best way forward. It's just on the one.
You're just losing money to make a small group of idiots happy.
I know. But it would stop all the noise, which would be nice.
Noise doesn't change anything.
I've always wanted them to turn the Switch into a portable Xbox. I've always said it.
I think they prefer to make their own, truth be told.
I would prefer that even more. A Series S portable would be a dream come true.
They're on the case, mate. They're on the case.
Okay. Scarcely Relevant / Scarecrow121. Which name would you prefer? Because you had Scarecrow121.
Scarcely Relevant because it's the one he writes every time. He always writes the name he wants.
Okay. Scarcely Relevant. This is for me. How's your holidays, mate? Busy. Super
we
busy.
haven't done anything.
Like, what do you mean? I've done heaps.
Yeah,
in terms of just generally.
The whole point. Talking about making content. Made shit.
I know. And I haven't stopped. Since I've been on leave for a week, Friday just gone, or yesterday, and I have not stopped. Whether it's been something around the house, going and visiting people or doing things, doing like the top 10 stuff or podcast, whatever. I have not stopped for a week straight. And it's actually frustrating me because there's things I've wanted to do and still haven't had a chance to do yet. I'm on Game Mess mornings next week. I've got Black Vikings podcast next week. Someone else just reached out to me saying they want to interview. So I'm like, okay, let me know a time and we'll try and work something out. Me and Jesse still need to do a retro hangouts. I've still got more house stuff to do. I've still got, oh my God.
We've got record Thanks, I Hate It, Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
Are you really looking forward to that?
Jason, Patron Jason, who Sunday night, so today's Sunday for me, last Sunday night, I got a text message from Jason, literally at 11 o'clock at night. Hey, I'm coming to Melbourne with my wife out of nowhere. We want to go to the tennis. Let's catch up. So all of a sudden, all my plans shifted for early in the week because I wanted to see Jason, because Jason's on the very exclusive Nick Patreon tier where you get to spend time with me if you're willing to fly down to Melbourne. And Jason and I went out for dinner with our wives. And then we went to the tennis together, which was really cool. Saw Coco Gauff, American player Coco. And then we watched Zverev at the Australian Open. Took Jason to Collingwood training. He got himself like a Collingwood top there. He got some signatures. He bought himself a hat. All my kids got photos with the players. It was great. So yes, it's been a good holidays, but also an extremely busy holidays. Extremely busy holidays. So I'm hoping that this next 7 days of my holidays is a little bit calmer, but I suspect it's not going to be, and it could actually be worse. So yes, but thank you for asking. Who else have we got? Is that everything?
No, that's it. So we're down to Hytham on the forum.
I've just put it in the chat. If anyone can name the chocolate bar I'm eating, I will gift them a game. It's on Steam though.
See it.
I'm deliberately like, it's really easy.
Seems
if you know
annoying to gift because you have to.
Yeah,
friend
I will
people.
send it to them privately. But you'll want this game, but you can't have it until later.
I don't know. Is it a Twix?
You're not winning.
You're not getting a game. You're not getting a game, Sonny Jim.
Sounds like I guessed it right then.
No, it's not a Twix. It's
Doesn't look like a Twix
not
at all.
Twix, mate.
I don't know. Maybe like a big. Maybe England does stupid big thick Twixes. I don't know.
Metal Oxide in the chat wins. I will ping you a game when it releases, but it's on Steam.
Tunix.
I hope that's okay.
What the fuck is that?
It is a classic British Tunix
Yeah, I'm looking it up now.
caramel.
Yeah.
Yummy. It's
Yeah.
just caramel chocolate wafer, mate. It's nothing.
Ugh.
Oh, Tunix do the those tea cakes, which are chocolate royales.
Yeah.
They're nice. I mean, tea cake is a weird name for it. We call it a chocolate royale here, and it's made by Arnott's, who make Tim Tams, which would also mean that our version would be better.
Super chat.
Super chat. See, Jason on the exclusive Nick Patreon tier. Have some caramel popcorn with that chocolate bar.
Jason gets so many nudes.
True. What?
Jason probably
what?
gets so many nudes from you.
He does. He does get a lot of nudes. Okay, so we're on to the forum now.
Mm-hmm.
And the first question is from Statement. So I want to circle around about the MCC going multi-platform, not only on PS5, but the Switch 2 mainly. So I like to say is that, let's say if MCC does go to Switch 2, at least people won't dump on Master Chief. Chances of joining Smash Brothers, despite he is on Nintendo, mainly the third-party games, like the ones I know, which could be more like Minecraft, Fortnite, Fall Guys, and Brawlhalla. But otherwise, for those who dump on him, me sticking the middle finger to the gamers that dump on Chief, so F you effing effers. So yeah, that. P.S. Did you gents knew that there was a Halo DS, but your gents honest take on that?
I love Hytham G. I think out of all the questions that get asked every week, genuinely, Hytham is my favourite. Mostly because we get to annoy Jesse at the beginning, and then we get to
You
enjoy the
don't. I
ride.
just take my headset off.
You're still slightly annoyed. that you
Yeah,
have to
I'm
do
not
that.
British.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, yeah. Once he comes to Switch and PlayStation, everyone's gonna love the Master Chief and Halo.
He'll
All
be
of a
back
sudden,
in the good graces. isn't he?
Halo won't be shit anymore once it's on PlayStation and Switch. Now, I read someone say Master Chief Collection, is that still on Blam Engine?
The games are on the same engine. The front that the UI for getting into them is Unreal 4. And
Yeah.
it's full.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They can't add anything
Interesting.
more because it's kind of filled up.
Interesting. How do you do that? How do you have the front end in one engine and then the
It
game's in
loads
another?
the game. It's like Halo Infinite is you load into multiplayer and then it literally shuts multiplayer down and loads you into single player. Like they can separate
Okay.
it.
Interesting. Yes, Halo DS. Did that ever release though? It didn't. Did
No.
it?
No.
The Halo
don't
DS
think
game
so.
never released. We know it existed. We've seen footage of it, but it never released.
Correct.
There was also an Atari Halo game. How good was that?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Mhm.
Was that the one that Ed Freeze made, or Seamus? Seamus, who made
What,
the
the
Halo
side scroller?
Atari game? Yeah,
I don't think either of them made it. Someone made it.
I thought one of them two made it. Halo 2600. Maybe I'm wrong.
It was Ed
Now I
Freeze.
want to Google it. See, told you.
Yeah, it was Ed. We talked to him about it when he was on. He was just having fun
Yeah.
coding.
Oh wow.
That's
Okay,
right.
I did not know that.
Yeah, you do too many
Oh, I
drugs.
forgot that.
Your
Fake
brain
Halo fan. Fake Halo fan.
Fake,
John's
fake.
head is just full of business and numbers now, so information cannot stick in it anymore.
It's also full of caca.
Whoa.
Okay.
Okay, Hytham.
Next question is from Hugh. Hello, guys. Just wondering if any of you have signed up for the hands-on sessions with the Nintendo Switch 2.
We missed a Destin question.
I know. I kept pointing. You can go back and listen to me say you
Ah.
had one, but Nick didn't give a shit because he hates the page.
Okay. They will be taking place in the US, UK, Europe, and even Australia. Even Australia. We have a
And-
headquarters down here in
And I
Melbourne.
will say,
We matter a lot to Nintendo.
for the rest of the question, he wouldn't. He loved IGN. Didn't care. Wasn't going to say anything bad about it, and he's very excited about Phil, as he said.
Well, I mean, he did talk about his time at IGN
Mhm.
and all that sort of
Yeah, he
stuff
loved it.
anyway, so he kind of answered the question.
Yep.
Yes, Hugh, I have signed up. I registered for May 10th in Melbourne. Hopefully, and I signed up with 4 tickets. You can get 3 extra tickets. So I signed up so I could take my 2 kids and my brother.
The hell?
Hopefully, I get in because I'd love to get. I played the Wii before it came out because we had a game show, a game
Wii.
expo here in Melbourne. That was probably the best one we've ever had. Closest thing to an E3 Australia will ever get. I played Gears of War that day before it came out. The Wii.
Nice.
That was like, they Microsoft had brought this like caravan that they had all made it look like a Gears of War type caravan.
Ooh, like the
And
Grum's
you'd
bus.
Go in and they had all these LCDs set up all around and you could play at a little Gears of War station. Oh, it was so cool. But yes, hopefully I'll get to get hands-on with the Switch 2 in May.
I haven't
Hopefully.
looked. I'll just buy one when it releases. and
I'll
play.
ask Nintendo PR for one. If they don't, I won't have one.
Okay. Next question is from
Gamsley
there's
with
a-
the
there's
super
a-
chat.
Super Chat from Gamsley. Hey guys, Oreos are the best. They are very nice. Besides that, who on the panel will be buying Switch 2?
Them too.
I will. Me.
Can you do that, Jesse?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, look, we can all do it.
Can you do that?
Which one? What am I doing?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I got it.
That's all. My wife.
you can't
If
do
my
this,
wife
though.
was here, she's
Watch
double
this.
jointed. It's terrifying.
I bet you can't do this.
I don't want to.
What are we doing?
Look, watch closely. Watch closely what I'm doing. So I'm not doing this. I'm not going one way. Each thumb is going a different way.
Yeah,
Can you do that?
nope. I don't have the interest in trying.
It's difficult, isn't it?
Ooh, excuse me for a moment. I'll be occupied.
Yeah. Try do that. So have
In a
one
different
thumb go
way.
one way and the other thumb go the other way, and go like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, because immediately you just default to doing that.
You just default to going one way, either forwards or backwards. Try one way and one
that's
the
impossible. Oh, I'm gonna. Oh, yeah, okay, that's good. That's good.
other. I have a very special brain. I can do that.
That's good. Okay.
It helps being ambidextrous. That helps. Okay. Next question. Didact.
No, I thought we did
Right.
his. Didn't we?
Yeah, we did his.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
that
we
was
did this.
that was the Destin one, I thought.
Yep, we talked about this one.
That was the
I
BAM.
didn't read this one.
We did.
I didn't
You were
read
gone.
this one.
I thought.
No, we haven't done this one. I promise you.
Oh, was
did
it a
do this
super?
We have not done this one. We haven't. There was a super chat about the BAM, but we have not asked this
Oh,
question.
no. We did do it, but I literally just read out the line to Destin.
Okay, so we got the rest of the question to do.
Yes.
So you can ignore the first line.
Because this is about cancelled PlayStation
Yeah.
games, which we didn't talk about.
Yeah.
So
So my question is about the games that were cancelled by PlayStation. Did Concord have anything to do with them? Or those games simply were not good enough? Fair Games, Horizon Games as a Service, and Marathon are still on the way. If Sony can't increase the revenue of their expensive single-player games and that's all their fan base wants, what's the move here? PC Day 1, remasters, iterative sequels, and exclusivity deals are doing just fine for them now, but for how long?
not doing just fine for them, really.
Here we go.
Host is
So-
not going to cancel a Horizon game.
There's-
I mean,
yeah,
come
right.
You know what?
on.
There are 2 Horizon games. There's the
Yeah, I know.
cartoonish. There's the cartoonish online one from Gorilla, and then there's what NCSoft is making the MMO.
Oh, God.
But
Crazy
also,
stuff.
yeah, Jeff Grubb, as you might know, Nick, Jeff Grubb said directly after the
Yep.
bomb that was Concord, they were like, oh shit, we need to go look and double check and really make sure that what we're doing is going to work.
Yeah.
Because maybe it's pretty much just double guessing. Like, if we were this wrong, because they thought Concord was going to be very big. Like, it was Herman Holst's
Yep.
baby. He loved it. And it's like, if Concord bombs the biggest bomb we've probably ever had outside of PSVR 2, probably even bigger than PSVR 2, because they literally never made a penny off of Concord. And that's one of the harder things to tell people is like, Bluepoint spent 2 years
Can't believe it.
it was a full 2 years as their main project on the God of War live service game. And then Bend
believe it.
had multiple years focused on what had leaked as like a Milsim live service game, Milsim shooter. And so that's just years
That
of...
makes a little more sense
Yeah.
from Bend, though.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
Yes.
The Blue Point God of
No.
War live service game, that is insanity. Who at Sony was like, Blue Point are brilliant at remastering games. Let's have them make a God of War live service game. Who the fuck had that idea and they didn't slap them around the head and go, no, bro, what are you talking about?
And that's why you're seeing everything come back now after Concord was one of the biggest, money loss things you could imagine in gaming history. And they're like, are we just completely wrong? We need to go and double check. And Grubb said, and somehow the people didn't even find out until Jason Schreier's tweet that they went back and they were double checking everything because of what a giant bomb Concord was.
But that shouldn't be a controversy. So it's funny because I tweeted out, and that was just speculation. I hadn't heard anything. I was like, I can't believe Concord's failure was so profound that it got other games cancelled. That was just me making an educated observation of what was happening. And then Grubb's like, I heard it actually got games cancelled. I was like, holy shit! Like that observation was quite accurate.
It makes sense as an observation, though. Like,
Yeah.
hey, everyone, look at this cool game. And it was a good game. It wasn't a bad game. It was just a game that, sorry, we've played this, we've done this. No one wants this. No one's hyped for this. And if Sony, with all of the polish and all of the charm and the CG trailers, couldn't sell it, they would immediately go back and look at the rest of their library and be like, oh shit, we need to rethink some things here. And that's clearly what
I was
they've done.
talking with like Jordan Midler, and I said their first party is a bit of a mess right now. He's like, no, it's not. What do you mean a mess? I was like, they've been putting out bangers. I'm like, and I started showing him things like Okami. They Concord canceled, unannounced God of War game canceled, The Last of Us multiplayer canceled, Spider-Man 2 multiplayer canceled, Ben Studio multiplayer canceled, Twisted Metal from Fire Sprite canceled, London Studios co-op game, studio closed, game canceled. Deviations multiplayer game canceled, and Payback, potentially Payback from Bungie canceled. Like, there's just been so much in a year and a half. Like, it's so many things that they don't get that time back. There are a lot of things that had a lot of time. You're not going to get some. Ben might go the entire generation without putting a game out.
And that's the other thing that, like, I don't think enough people, like, what about now? And look, Sony will play their usual tricks.
And they're not shifting to live
secure games.
They're not shifting away from live service. They're just looking for ones that will work. Like, they're not going to immediately go all single player again, like people think.
But the cancellations in and of themselves shouldn't be controversial.
No.
Games get cancelled all the time. We just don't hear about it 90% of the time.
I think
that's the thing.
Bigger on these is also like how long some devs are now going in between projects.
Yes.
So,
and again, this is all stuff we have talked about because we, outside of mucking around, we don't console war. So we've talked about this stuff on this show many, many times about the direction Sony's heading. They're going to have to make some adjustments. They can't afford to keep spending all this money on all these games. Like, this is where Microsoft buying a gajillion studios pays off. Like, yep, we had some issues with COVID and then we had some issues with other things, but now all of a sudden it's piled up and 2025, 2026 is poised for, again, assuming no cancellations or more delays, a bit of an onslaught.
It would have to be a lot of cancellations or delays of some sort.
Yes.
Like, it's just so much.
The stuff that's likely to be cancelled on the Microsoft end is the stuff that hasn't even been officially announced.
Wu-Tang game.
Rumored.
Yeah.
Your Wu-Tang game, your Project Dragons, that's the stuff that's likely to be cancelled on the Microsoft end. Stuff that's never been announced.
Well, likely
like
if
Sony,
stuff was cancelled, it would likely be that. Not that those are going to be cancelled, just to let people...
Yes,
that's what I'm saying.
To clarify it for people.
That's what I said, isn't it?
Well, the way you worded it is as likely to be cancelled, as in those games are not likely to come out. I know, I just want to clarify.
Yeah, as in if stuff was to be cancelled on the Microsoft end, it would be that stuff, those rumoured games that never got announced. Just like with Sony here, none of these games got announced. We just happened to hear that they got cancelled. That's all.
Yeah.
But to me, the controversy shouldn't be... Yes, to me, the controversy shouldn't be the cancellation. To me, the only controversy should be that some of these decisions were being made. Like, to me, and I saw in the chat, Bluepoint wanted to do their own game. Yeah, they did. But why would you get them on a live service God of War game?
Wait, to be fair, we don't know, and this is just conjecture. Bluepoint could have pitched that.
Mm-hmm. It was the time.
I doubt it.
No, they have to. I mean, that's how it works.
That's how most developers work.
Shu talked about with Greg Miller. PlayStation respects what their creatives want to make, but knowing that, when you know the company is shifting to wanting live service games based on its own IP. So it doesn't have to give money to other companies like Disney. You pitch something, you have, what about God of War? We have this idea for live servicing, and it's probably got a better chance. But also, they had just spent 2 years helping make God of War Ragnarok. So shifting to a God of War live service game, it's like that's what they've been working on the last 2 years, was God of War.
What would that even look like?
Don't know.
Maybe it was a cool pitch, and you just don't know.
Yeah, maybe it was a God of War
like
Diablo.
A battle? Was it a fighting game?
No idea.
Like maybe you fought as...
Those aren't even really live service.
Because it's a melee combat focused game, so maybe it was literally like a fighting game. Maybe.
Well, no, but even that's not live service. Like, if I'm thinking live service in God of War, it's either a third person behind the back Bungie Destiny style looter thing where you're playing as not the god characters but making your own people that work with them, or it's like a Diablo type of game. But we don't know. They didn't say anything about it.
Even the ones that have survived. So I think someone said them in the chat earlier. We've got Fair Games, Marathon.
Oh God, Fair Games.
Horizon.
Doesn't that have some pressure on it?
Fair Games. I'm sorry, and I mean no harm to the devs. I don't want this to happen, but I don't. If you look at the trajectory, it's very similar to Concord. It got announced. Everyone's like,
it is.
Well, it's Extraction-y, right? And Extraction's kind of died.
Yes, but I want Jade Raymond to have a win.
Yeah,
I know, right?
Like, I want Jade Raymond to have a win. Like, she must be thinking right now, oh my God.
Yeah, right?
Seriously.
I guarantee
Just-
you, it's probably a great game. But the question becomes, what does the market want? Now, it might be the case that Fair Games is so close, right, that there's no point, or maybe they believe in it, or maybe it's got some special trick that's going to change the opinion of everybody and it's going to nail it. I don't know. But if I look at that first reveal and I compare it to the Concord first reveal, and you look at the sentiment, it's like, I don't know, guys. Marathon is the interesting one here because Bungie are releasing on everything, including Xbox. So I'm
As far as we know.
As far as we know, and equally, if that does happen and it is successful, I bet that will cause more than a few bean counters at Sony to be like,
Live service.
oh,
Yeah.
well,
yeah.
but like, oh, and then they'll look at how many players they have on Xbox and they'll be like,
Well,
oh.
they've already committed for they've already committed to PC day and date on all live service, essentially. So it wouldn't be that. I mean, it's the logical steps we saw with Microsoft, and even with like Phil with the we're doing 4 things. Everyone calls him a liar. He said it was an experiment. Why do you do an experiment? To see what the results are. And the results were none of you left and we made
Really
a bunch
good.
more money. So yeah, of course we're going to do more. Like,
Yeah.
And these are experiments for PlayStation of buying Bungie and then essentially entirely absorbing it because it stopped making all the money that you thought it was going to. And so now
But
you
we've
need
said
to
this
recoup
before,
more.
though. This is a bed Sony made for themselves. So they conditioned their base to only value single player, third person, over the shoulder, slow walk and talk games. That's what they conditioned their install base to demand, to love, to enjoy, to want, to pay for. They were always going to struggle with games as a service regardless. Because of that alone, forget the quality of the games themselves. Ignore the quality for a second. That's what they had conditioned their install base to demand and want. So maybe had there been a little more push with other stuff earlier on, they wouldn't be struggling quite as much now.
Yeah, because their install base has their live service games they want to play. They already have Fortnite and Rocket League and all the
Warzone.
Call of Duty. Like they already have too many things for Genshin Impact. They've got all the MiHoYo verse games. They've got Final Fantasy 14. Like it's really hard. No MMO ever overtook WoW. Once you dominate something new like that, if you don't completely shit the bed, you're not falling behind people very often. So
It's like the old days of PlayStation, relying on third party.
Yeah.
That's...
And Microsoft finally using their money to just buy their way in again. Like they bought great, they had
The
good live
original
service
Xbox.
and they bought great live service. Like they turned
Here's-
Minecraft
here's-
into it.
I've got a question, Nick, and I wonder if what if this was the play that Microsoft's doing? They release all these exclusives of long-standing franchises like Halo, like everything else, right? Right now in this gen, and they get all of this fan base that has never bought an Xbox, hasn't worried about it, going, "Holy fuck, these are some really good games." And then the next gen, all of the sequels, all of the next versions are back to being exclusive. Would you be then like, "Oh, smart move," because you've wet their whistle? Oh, that was really good. I really like. Oh wait, I have to get an
What
Xbox now
if-
for that, for the next one.
I don't.
Would you think
but
that
we've
would be a
said
clever move? I'm
But
just
we've
asking.
said that. Yeah, but we've already said that's what we thought maybe they might be doing. Release these older things as an ad
Yeah,
for the newer things.
But do you think
We've
that
said
would
that they
be?
might do that.
But do you think that would play out in the way that the theory kind of dictates that if players really
No.
loved those universe, you don't think it would? The people would just be like,
No.
"Fuck it, I'll just stick with my PlayStation."
Especially
You know why? I don't.
Go.
I was going to say, do you know why I don't think that would work? Because now everyone thinks everything's coming, so they'll just wait.
Yeah.
and more
I-
and more
it
It
may
may
people.
not
also
all be
some-
coming.
Yeah, I saw someone in the chat earlier on talking about, waiting for games and stuff, and it's just like, if it's single player, I'll wait 2 years. If I
Yeah,
have
that
to,
was
for it
the
to be
question
a
we just
decent
had.
price.
14% of purchases on Steam were new games that year. Like everyone has a huge backlog. I think the way it could work is if in each game you make it very clear that it's available on Game Pass. Because if somebody is there and they're buying something and they're like, and then when the next one comes out and they're playing Outer Worlds 2 and it says Outer Worlds 3 in Game Pass right now, and like, it's like, you can
That's the
find
FOMO
ways to,
trying to-
yeah,
yeah.
you can be like, if you just have this, if you got a phone, if you got a TV, if you got a PC, if you want our new hardware, that's a friggin' handheld, that's good. Anything like that, it's in this subscription service. And then you getting that into more people, more than available day one on Game Pass ever could, it has to be their goal for trying to get more people into their ecosystem.
But for what you suggested to work, Microsoft would have to make it abundantly clear that no new games will be multi-platform. They'd have to make it abundantly black and white. Hey, everyone, the only things going multi-plat are older games 3 or 4 years and older.
They won't do that.
And we're using that as a way to advertise our platform. And if you want the newest game, you've got to get into the Xbox ecosystem. Sorry.
And my kids would be furious because they don't care. Like, they just want everything everywhere. They would be used to it being everywhere because we have everything and their friends have certain things and they can play on those things with their friends. And everyone, the younger generation is not going to be happy outside. I don't even think they're going to be super happy with Nintendo over the long haul. Like, they'll be used to it and they'll probably be like, ooh, whenever Nintendo shits on me, what delicious chocolate, like current generations are to a point. But even there, I think it's just like, if I can't get it on my phone, if I can't get it on my laptop, if I can't get it to play with my friends and where they are, then I'm going to ignore it.
I know, I'm just saying, in John's scenario,
Mhm.
it can only
I
work
know,
if
yeah.
Microsoft make it abundantly clear.
Which
what
they
they're
never
doing.
will.
And I was saying
So-
that
Which they
would,
don't,
that would
yes.
piss the younger generation, who they are very hardly working very hard trying to win over. It would piss them off a lot.
Yeah.
But Sony, I mean, Shuhei said it. Buy the remasters. You want new games? Buy the remasters. Buy the PC releases. He flat out said it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, we saw it with
They need the money.
the Insomniac leak. What was their idea for Spider-Man 3 to fight the costs? Split the game artificially into 2 and sell each of them for $80. Like, that was their idea. Because-
It's what's gross is people are like, yeah,
Well, it's because
thanks, Sony.
instead of focusing on scope and fixing things and having better planning and budgeting, it's just, well, how can we get the microtransaction style money out of single player?
It's not that. It's not that. Like, I'm sure Sony understands that they need to get development costs down. But again, it's a bed they made themselves.
I know.
They set the standard. Oh my God, the greatest graphics. Oh my God, the greatest physics and details. Look, the grass moves when Drake walks through it. And oh, look, when Kratos walks through the snow, look how the snow deforms. And all those little details, they take a lot of dev effort and that costs money. And that sort of attention to detail is expensive. And that is a standard that Sony, with their first party, has set. It's hard to go back now. How do you now go back to the snow not deforming anymore and the grass not moving and blah, blah, blah? It's hard. Like, that's why I've said I feel for Jim Ryan. He's caught between a rock and a hard place now because where do they go?
It's interesting that they're supposedly everyone's switching to using Decima, but also the Horizon game from Guerrilla, the online one, is like chibi Pal World style graphics. Like, it really looks like Pal World from what's leaked before. Which again is just that's what I'm saying. They are pulling away from the incredibly expensive Horizon Forbidden West
I hope so.
and Burning Shores stuff.
For their sake, I hope so.
Yeah.
Because, like, I'd be very curious to see how the PlayStation fan base, if they would accept a decline, or what's perceived as a decline, in that visual detail and visual quality bar that they've become accustomed to.
And as Britt
'Cause it is
says,
a very high one.
Decima's already ported to PC and Xbox. It makes it easier to get things ready to go. Like, even Astrobot looks really nice, but it's super stylized, so I highly doubt it was a trillionth as expensive
Gorgeous
as
game.
Spider-Man 2, but it looks great. Like, you can find
Gorgeous
ways. I don't know.
Risk it. But that's not something you can see. Risk it saying you go to physics, you go to you're talking about the general direction of game dev. I'm talking about what the PlayStation fan base, that hardcore Twitter, oh my God, look how amazing our games look and look how shit yours look. I'm talking about that group, and would they accept what is perceived as a downgrade in visual quality from PlayStation Studios? That's what I'm talking
I'm curious
about. Would they
how
accept that?
interested in that they are anymore, because so much of their audience is casual and not focused on it as is. So, like, will they finally just go back to, because they have been, as a company, very invested in that console warring and trying to keep the hardcore on their side and, you know,
Yeah.
doing the fighting, but I don't think that makes you money. You're just like, their whole thing is margins. They make more money than Xbox, they make more money than Nintendo, but their margins are really bad. So they want to get them up, and the best way to do that is to just cut costs and find smart ways
That's
to
right.
get more games out for less money. That is Nintendo's whole, you know, secret
Yeah.
sauce. They get more games out and they spend less making them.
And risk it. You say who cares what they think? Sony cares what they think. Sony's been pandering to that base for years in the console wars. Sony's been knee deep in that shit forever. I mean, that's who they do it for. They do it for all the fanboys in the gaming media that review their games and give them 10 out of 10 just because of the bloody graphics and the cutscenes. What do you mean? They care 100% what they think. 100% they care. And that's why I'm curious to see how that will turn. If Sony starts to go, shit, maybe let's go more towards what Nintendo and to a lesser extent Microsoft do and focus on the gameplay and this and that and the other, and not so much worry about state-of-the-art graphics and every cutscene has to look like a movie and blah, blah, blah,
If
blah, blah.
Nick, to your point, everyone's going to start thinking, okay, handheld's the way the whole industry has got to go if we all want to survive.
They'll have no choice.
They'll have no fucking choice, bro.
Yeah, because there was people talking about that handheld with it being a mobile PS5. And it's like, no, you can't do that. You can't do a mobile PS5 or Series X right now. It's literally going to be a laptop. It's going to be enormous. It's going to be $1,500 and it's going to last for 45 minutes on a battery.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Fun stuff.
Oh, we definitely delved into that topic, didn't we?
Knew we would.
Yeah, just a smidge.
Although bloody Destin kept sidetracking us all the time with that early days too. My God, it took us 20 minutes to get to what have we been playing. Last question. 99 Rukin. Hello. With the rumor of Ubisoft giving assets to Tencent to stay out of bankruptcy, do you think the US government would block it if they try to get the Tom Clancy IPs and games? Think about it. They just banned TikTok, probably planning to ban DJI. What's that?
No, that might be shorthand for that Red Note thing. I don't know.
Okay. Why would the US want a company with ties to their government-owned IPs based on the US forces? Would it be forced to sell to an American company?
Oh,
you know, my
hardware
answer,
manufacturer.
It would be Microsoft, of course. Sorry?
DJI is a hardware like phone manufacturer.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Drones. Big drones are the main thing they make.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Would they block it just for the Tom Clancy IPs? I
No.
doubt it.
Nope.
I doubt it.
It wouldn't get. There's no Tom Clancy monopoly to be had.
Yeah, but I think it sounds like he's more referring to the fact that. Maybe
No,
I'm
not with. So
misunderstanding.
with the Biden administration, and Lena Khan, I think they would be more wary. With Trump, they'll just pay him. You're gonna get Trump coin. He just announced it. He's doing it is literally a pump and dump Bitcoin from Trump. $sign Trump. It's 80% is already like private. There's only 10% going up for the public, which is like allegedly, supposedly every hallmark of a pump and dump crypto scheme. So it will not be a problem the next 4 years at least.
Okay. How is that legal, SJ? I don't think it is.
Of course it is. If you are
It is
Richard,
legal.
if you're the president, you can do anything. That was proven when all of his court cases got thrown out.
Yeah, that's right.
Again, strange country.
Bizarre.
Everyone opposite, and your neighbors are all like.
Funnily enough, Canada's in way worse shape than we are. The best shape lately is Mexico. Like they actually have a great president. They really she's like 80% approval rating.
Doesn't Trump want to turn Canada into the 51st state?
Yeah,
And
and
then-
Mexico. And he wants to rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America.
And he wants
he wants
to
to buy Greenland.
He wants to buy Greenland because it's so big on the map, and he doesn't realize it's not actually that big, and there's only 56,000 people there.
It's tactically, it's very, very useful.
Sure,
Don't they
but
want independence
he
from
wanted it
Denmark?
because it's big.
Doesn't Greenland
Denmark.
want independence from Denmark or something like that?
Greenland are technically owned by Denmark, but they have had an independent parliament for a while now.
Mm.
So
Okay.
Honestly, the whole world is just fucking mental. I'm glad
Pretty
we've
much
got video games to play.
every incumbent lost in most places. Like every incumbent governance lost horribly.
Cool.
Video games.
That's everything. That's the end
Yeah.
of the show.
No.
Excellent times.
Got right in on that 3.5
Next-
hours that my wife wanted me to be under.
Under
Nice.
the next 2 weeks on the site are going to be balls to the walls nonstop. Tuesday and Thursday headlines. Thursday headlines is at 1 p.m. Eastern with all four of us, me, John, Nick, and Ursel, all together to co-stream the Dev Direct and then talk about it afterwards.
5 a.m. is not too bad.
Yeah.
I can do 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
When is it again?
5 a.m.
Thursday, your Friday,
No. As in-
your Friday, 24th.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, you are on the thumbnail. You don't get to say no.
No, because I just realized that that's also the day I'll be probably on Game Mess. So I'll be doing Game Mess at like 3 a.m.
Oh, there you go.
leading straight into the Dev Direct.
There you go. Perfect.
Oh, no.
Lovely.
Well, you weren't going to get sleep on that day
Lucky boy.
anyway, so. But yeah, and then the following week, a bajillion things start coming out on Game Pass. We should have reviews for everything. I'm doing 3 of the 4. Yeah, it's or 3. Yeah, and then there's also Tales of Iron is the 4th that Deadly Headley's doing. That's not on Game Pass. There's a lot of stuff. John's working on 1. Ursul's working on 2. I'm working on 3. Chengus is working on 2. Fairy's working on 2. There's a lot of reviews coming. And we're going to do more and more Patreon content because we love you.
And there's going to be more cool stuff.
It's a
That's all we
terrible
can
tease.
say, really. Yeah. YouTube crashed again.
It does.
More cool stuff. It's going to be a really, really busy end to the month. Ursul's going to probably have to cover for me in February, as I mentioned on Twitter, etc. I will be flying to the DICE Awards, the proper Game Awards, in Vegas in Feb, and that means I'm out for the whole week, and I don't land until the Saturday, so I doubt I'll be on that podcast. So, yeah, we'll figure something out for then. But it's just going to be a really busy time, and then February's going to be nuts again. I don't know when anybody's going to be able to take a deep breath and chill, but probably not for a while this year. Console Wars, a card game, coming in March.
Be sure to check out all our top 10 videos on YouTube.
Yeah, for sure. We've got one from yourself, me, Jesse, Ursul. We've got articles from Proven and Fairy Empire, and we've got our.
And me.
Yeah, I just said we've got one for all of us, and then we've got a collective game of the year as well, which I have to say, Ursul did a really good job on that video. Like, it's really good.
And he actually got it
Someone
out
made
on
a
time.
really mean comment on my video.
Really?
Something about my lack of enthusiasm or something. I'm like,
Oh, because
really?
the way you read versus the way you talk on
I know.
podcasts. I know. People
You need to
people are-
work on it. Like, we love
I
you.
know, but I can't help that.
You just got to emote while you're reading.
Make
Pretend
your
you're
wife-
having a
can't do
conversation.
that.
Make your wife sit next
just
to you
act.
and just talk to her. Just force her down.
I can't do that. It's
I
weird.
believe in you.
struggle
You
to
can.
do that.
You can do it. You can do it.
Get me on StreamYard
Maybe I
and
should
just
change
as
my
you're
review
reading, talk to
style.
me.
Maybe I should just do live reviews.
No.
So I play footage of the game and talk about my experience with the game. Maybe that'd be better.
No,
You'd also have to have something written though.
Nah.
it's
Not if I've just
live
got
is
footage of the
rambling.
game and I'm just talking about the game.
Nope. No. You do that on the podcast already.
Come on, Pablo Schreiber. You did such a good job on Halo.
Halo on the terrible TV show.
Did you like how it works that in there? It's just for lols.
Yeah.
You don't
Destin
have
really
much
hates
material,
it
so
more
I'm
than we
used to
do.
it.
But he said he hated it. I was like,
Yeah, but he
Destin
also
hates it more than we do.
yeah, but he also said he hated Hellblade 2 more than one. which we normally make fun of people
got
for.
you. They got you, but yeah. Anyway, everybody that's watched this evening, thank you so much. I think we've been over 200 most of the time.
Despite 9,000 crashes on YouTube.
Yeah. We love you guys. Really, really appreciate it. As always, if you enjoy everything that XboxEra does, and there's going to be a lot this year, head over to patreon.com/XboxEra, where you can pledge your support, get access to exclusive programs and videos and content and other bits and pieces, as well as the Cool Kids Club Lounge on both our forums and Discord. And yeah, buckle up. It's going to be a good year. We'll be back on Tuesday with headlines and a whole bunch of content over the next couple of weeks. And then we'll see you for the Developer Direct. Until then, friends, ciao for now.
Ciao for now.
Jeremiah was a bold frog, was a good friend of mine. I never understood a single
There,
word
you want me to talk to you, Britt? I can make my mic come through. I don't have anything to say, I'm sorry.
Singing, joy to the world, all the boys and girls now. Joy to the fishes in the deep blue sea, joy to you and me. If I were the king of the world, tell you what I'd do. I'd throw away the cars and the bars and the wars, make sweet love to you. Sing it now. Joy to the world, all the boys and girls. Joy to the fishes in the deep blue sea, joy to you and me. You know I love the ladies, love to have my fun. I'm a high night flyer and a rainbow rider, and a straight shooting son of a gun. I said a straight shoot son of a gun. Joy to the world, all the boys and girls. Joy to the fishes in the deep blue sea, joy to you and me. To the fishes in the deep blue sea, joy to you and me. Joy to the world, all the boys and girls. Joy to the fishes in the deep blue sea, joy to you and me.